Basketball. Basketball. Basketball.
Basketball is back, Jack. Time for our favorite winter sport. The summertime is over, so let's head down to the court. Time for the tip-off. Give me fast breaks on the attack. Will you shoot a three or take it to the rack? Basketball is back, Jack. It's a dream shake down in the post, or a killer cross you love the most. When the offense tries to run and gun, is it man-to-man or box and one? It's big plays and talking smack. That's how you know that basketball is back, Jack. Let me hear you say
Basketball. Basketball. Basketball.
basketball is back, Jack. 360 dunks and pick and rolls. And we're gonna watch it every day till they raise the Larry O. Hard fouls and hook shots, a dagger three and hack a shack. If you say this game's the best, I'll say's a gag. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back. Basketball is back, Jack.
Mike Baiamonte, the Heat's longtime 35-year in-stadium announcer, is retiring this year. He's going to join us here in about 20 minutes to talk about the job that Zaslow wants.
Yep.
Zaslow and others around here are going to audition for that job. We'll talk to him for 20 minutes.
Give me that job.
I do not want to overreact to the first couple of weeks of these new seasons, but I am willing to say it. The Heat are good and the Panthers are bad.
Okay, you're totally wrong about the second part.
What the hell are you talking about?
The second part is a ridiculous
Keep
thing
going,
to say.
Dan.
The first part, though, you might be right.
Well, they are good offensively. Their bench is going to be good. And I want to have the larger conversation because I know Charlotte Hornets doesn't mean anything to you, but them scoring 140 this way and the bench playing this way, it does strike me as interesting that the Heat organization might know something about players that it's not giving up in trades and might know something about growth possibilities for the kind of players like Jaquez and Jovic and others.
Fontecchio.
Yeah. Well,
Simone
he's got the best name in the sport.
Oh, easily.
Simone Fontecchio, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is there a better name in basketball than Simone Fontecchio? What happened to his mustache? When did he lose the mustache? Because the mustache made it look even more ridiculous when he would assassin strike in a Pistons uniform.
I wouldn't know what he looked like if I woke up next to him.
Well, you wouldn't know what he looks like if you recognized him with a mustache and saw him now, because it is disorienting to see him post-mustache. I joke about the Panthers. They're clearly hurt. Why are you laughing at stuff
Mike
that's
waking up to a guy like, "Hello, I am Simone Fontecchio."
Okay.
What kind of accent?
Doesn't have
is
an
that?
accent.
He doesn't?
He should.
He should.
This is how this is how it happens. Mike wakes up and goes, "Huh? What are you doing? What are you doing with my wife?" My name is Simone Fontecchio. And it's like, and Mike's like,
You
okay,
killed my father?
Tell me more.
You know I was into this.
What a wild night that you wake up at like 6 p.m. next to
If I
Simone
had a dime.
Fontecchio.
Now, Dan, I hate to do this to you. I hate to do this to you, Dan. Because you said mustache a couple times, and I was like, I don't remember a mustache, but like, it's been a long off season. Maybe he was.
No,
whatever.
he had one with the Pistons. He absolutely did.
I kind of been doing some Google searches here. Not really any mustaches.
I don't feel like you hated to do that as much as you claim that you hated to do that.
You know, it was unnecessary. I feel, you know what? I'm going to put myself in the penalty box because I grinded the show to a screeching halt just to make a stupid correction about his stupid, non-existent mustache that he never had.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes, delay a show.
Getting back to the point that I was making, though, I joke about the Panthers, but losing at home to Anaheim in overtime, they haven't looked very good. Obviously, they missed their two best players.
Okay, you say they haven't looked very good, and fine, but there have been games, and last night was one of them, where they're getting lots of chances, and I think they're getting a little bit of bad luck. And, Anaheim's goalie was awesome last night, and that's happened to them a couple times so far this year.
Yeah,
yes,
Jari,
they're hurt.
Pittsburgh.
Yep,
Jari
was amazing for Pittsburgh.
I will say those two.
They're
teams,
a little bit unlucky right now.
Those two teams in particular are coming out with hot starts to start the season.
Pittsburgh's
Anaheim,
got the best record in the East right now. Second best maybe.
Anaheim looks like a playoff team.
They got a good coach.
One of the underreported storylines headed into Frozen Frenzy was Coach Quenneville's return.
Good coach
to Florida.
All of you looked me in the face and got indignant on the idea of me saying that the Panthers are bad. But you have been disappointed. They start the season with 3 straight wins, and they've been laboring since. And it's to be expected. There's no surprise in that. You're going to lose to some good teams, and that league is top-heavy. So, you've got – how many teams the last 2 years have been 90-plus point teams, right? There have been more than a dozen, have there not?
Well, listen, they were missing Brand Marchand last night because of personal reasons, and that's the guy who's been driving the offense lately. But, the Panthers really hemmed the puck inside the Ducks zone the entire night last night.
Yeah.
And they outchanced them. They outshot them. They had more attempts. They just didn't finish.
What do you make of this win meter thing that keeps popping up in these group chats where every game there's they make this meter of who's supposed to be winning this game.
Deserve to win a meter.
And it's always Panthers, and they're losing.
Yeah, what am I supposed to make of that?
Deserve to win a meter was at 82% for the Panthers.
Yeah. So, Dan, does that make you feel better?
I like the deserve to win a meter standings. I wish we had an accurate measurement. To me, all I've been using for years is a run differential or point differential, and it feels insufficient to me. I would like a should have won meter, another part of the standings that has win, loss, tie, and then games where they actually deserve to win but lost.
Let's celebrate the point. That was a hard-earned point. That game looked done.
That was exciting when they scored with the empty net,
Yes.
3 minutes up. That was exciting.
I always like that.
Yeah.
They were down.
It's a good feeling.
They were down 2-0, and it was hard to watch the general constipation of down 2-0 in a game. The total in that game was 6.5 goals. People expected scoring in that game, and they did do something late to titillate. But let's go to the Heat for a second before Mike Baiamonte comes on with us. And I know that Charlotte is as irrelevant a sports franchise as there is anywhere in sports. Let's take some guesses here. Never been to the Eastern Conference Finals as a franchise. You guys want to guess the last time they won a playoff series? Anybody want to guess the last time they won a playoff game? Because these are two different answers in my head.
Probably Purple Shirt Guy
Yeah,
series.
Purple Shirt Guy, right?
That is 2015. So 10 years since they won a playoff game. But go ahead and guess last time they won a playoff series.
I'm going to go 93.
Morning, the shot.
Yep,
Good.
93. Is that it?
I think it was after that. I think
they upset the Heat.
I think in the year 2000 with Jamal Mashburn,
that's
but they were the
When-
Bobcats.
Eddie
they were the Hornets.
Robinson. No, they were Hornets.
They were the Hornets. They were not the Bobcats.
Were they New Orleans Hornets?
No, they were Charlotte. And I think Alonzo was trying to work his way
Yep.
back, and it kind of screwed up team chemistry a little bit.
2001.
2001,
Yep.
because
Got
2000 was nip and tuck. Nick Bavetta.
Jamal Mashburn, 2002. So you're talking about the Charlotte.
Not 2002, because 2002.
It was 01.
I was at the last Hornets game ever played in Charlotte before they went back, and that was 2002 against the Nets.
Yeah, it was 01. It
was 01.
Swept.
Okay, but listen to what I just said.
I'm grinding the show to a halt.
Let me see here. Hold on.
He's helping.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes, delay a show.
Tough start.
You're not allowing me to get on the rhythm.
25 years without winning a playoff series in that sport is crazy. That everyone makes the playoffs in that sport. Half the teams make the playoffs in that sport. So it has been an irrelevant franchise. Go ahead. I'll ask the room. You guys want to guess the name of their coach?
Ooh,
Yes.
No, I don't.
Charles Lee.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show.
Works for me.
It's just a guy named Charlie.
Oh, Charlie Lee.
Not Charles Lee. Charlie.
Charlie.
Charlie. It's just a guy named Charlie.
His first name's Charles?
Yeah, like Leclerc.
You've got it being two names, Charles Lee. It's just some dude named Charlie. He's in his second year. The idea.
It's not even his first year?
You don't believe me?
No, I know they fired that Italian guy.
The one with the mustache?
The second year of Charles Lee produces a Charlotte basketball team that has LaMelo Ball and little else. I like watching LaMelo Ball.
Cockbrenner's good.
He shoots from distance in a way that is fun.
You tricked me. You said it was Charles Lee. His name is Charlie Lee.
I was kidding.
Charles Lee.
His
Shit.
name. What are you doing? His name.
Damn.
Swallow the
Minor
whistle.
penalty, 2 minutes, delay a show.
A lot of adversity for us.
Wow.
Show management, man.
His name is Charles Lee, and I'm really actually fascinated by the idea of going 25 years without winning a playoff series in that sport, as Michael Jordan, the owner for much of that time, gives us insights to excellence on tape delay.
That's not fair. He's not giving insights to excellence of managing a team.
He's responsible for many of those 25 years of not winning a single playoff series. He's responsible for it. He oversaw all of it, and now he's giving us his insights to excellence on tape delay on Peacock. But let's talk for a second about what the Heat are doing, because without Norman Powell last night, they're getting a ton of help from their bench. This is now a handful of games that they've scored 140 in, and they scored 140 at Memphis. And man, would it be fun to see Kevin Durant in this offense.
Oh, my God. He would be tremendous with this group. The ball movement.
Why? They don't need to pay a guy what Kevin Durant's being paid. Look what the Heat are doing right now.
I don't
They need
disagree.
Kevin
I
Durant.
love where the roster
Why do
is
they do
at
that?
right now. And Jaime Jaquez Jr.
That's my
off
dog,
the bench,
Jaime.
running everything. You know, it's funny. After that first game against Orlando, we talked about, like, oh, if you're going to have Jaime bringing up the ball at the end of the game. But what he's doing offensively, he just looks physically and mentally refreshed. Because last year, he went through an injury early in the year with his legs. He had no burst. And, you know, last night he's getting through the lane and throwing down two-handed slams. He leads the league in plus-minus right now.
And he's making threes, or he made threes last night. He doesn't even shoot
Made
many
three.
of those. Didn't he make two? I thought he made two.
He did. He had a couple.
I made one late.
Okay, so you know what?
What? We're celebrating.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes, delay a show.
If you're going to correct me, be correct. That doesn't seem like too big of an ask. Like it seems like a bare minimum ask.
It's a great podcast.
How you feel about Jaime Jaquez being a plus 43 last night?
When I saw him dunk and fall on the floor like that, I'm surprised that more people don't get hurt in that sport when that happens. That seems like a great distance to fall from, and when you don't land on your legs and come close to landing on your head, and I can hear the echo throughout the broadcast of you hitting the floor. I get worried for those people.
I'm a little bit confused. I find myself confused watching the Heat right now because I don't really understand what I'm watching. I mean, if you besides the fact that the Miami Heat historically are not a team that scores, but if you score 140 points in a game, that's like all-time scoring stuff. The Heat have done it twice in the first 4 games. So, like, I'm pleasantly confused at what I'm seeing.
Well, I heard Zach Lowe talking before the season, and I'd love to know who his source was on this, because he said a little birdie told me. And what the little birdie told him was this. He said, a little birdie told me that I should expect the Heat to be much better this year because offensively they're going to revamp the entire thing. And Eric Spoelstra has proven over the years, when he gets the respect of all of his colleagues, that he knows how to reinvent and revolutionize. He's done it a number of times over 15 years with whatever the pieces are that you give him. But the conversation that I wanted to have, you guys, where we've been critical, because the standard is win a title, and this team's not going to win a title. This offense is not how you can play in the playoffs, so it'll be fun, interesting, exciting. We'll enjoy the regular season. They may be better than we expect, but you cannot go into the postseason with Bam or Norman Powell as your best player and expect to play championship basketball. But the part that I wanted to ask Amin and the rest of you, as it applies to what we're presently seeing, which is a revolution of what it is that they were doing offensively when they were constipated, is how does an organization earn enough trust that when they keep swinging and missing on trades that you want them to make for marquee players because they're saying, we like our young guys and we think they're going to develop and we've got more information than you do, more investment than you do, and we know more about how to do this than you do. What organization buys enough trust that the fan base doesn't turn on them when they simply refuse to trade the young pieces for Kevin Durant when we all want to see Kevin Durant in a Heat uniform? Amin, I'll ask you.
Yeah, so I could show you the ways of the Force.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes, delay a show.
Honestly, the first fair
I
whistle.
said 2 words, and Roy started laughing.
Yeah, well, your joke was no good and it was too slow. Get out of here. It's got to be a good, fast joke if you're going to make it after 3 delay of game penalties.
Wow. You need a teacher.
You can't have 3 delay of show penalties and then limp in with that with a visual costume joke that has
Your headphones are still on, I mean. Yep, thank you.
Zaz, I'll ask you the question. I should ask Mike the question because he's been a very vocal critic of the Miami Heat. When and how do they earn your trust? And Mike turned around as soon as they got Norman Powell. He's like, at least they've done something, and now I can trust them again.
Well, Mike really turned around when they got rid of Terry Rozier.
3-0 without Rozier. No, I didn't poo-poo the Powell thing. Dan was actually trying to temper our excitement for it. I was like, no, they did something. They listened. They finally did something. They added a player.
But it's confusing, right? Where, okay, they're without Hero, fine. But they then still score 144 without Powell, who's been their leading scorer these first 3 games. That's why I'm pleasantly confused with what I'm watching right now.
I was super confused as to what I was watching as it pertains to Jaquez last year. Didn't recognize the player. I don't know if he was going through something. I don't know what that was.
Well, he was hurt at the start of the year, and sometimes you kind of get behind and you never get going.
I recognize this dude. That is the normal development of a player that showed a lot of promise.
He looks like the guy who's taking the next step after a great rookie year, but it's like, wow.
Jaquez was plus 43 last night.
I don't mean to take it.
Too.
I don't mean to take it to.
I was in the penalty when he said
Minor
it.
penalty, 2 minutes, delay a show.
Wow.
Swallow the whistle, man.
Wow.
I do think it kind of underscores what we hinted at last show, which is Tyler Hero. I would think his days are possibly numbered.
I don't know.
What is? I mean, a high volume player that doesn't give you much defensively. He's on the roster for his offense. Well, a couple games into the season, it looks like they've kind of handled the offense thing. I think we should move on.
Adding an all-star.
I think we should move on.
Adding an all-star
in my
onto
defense, I thought we should move on for quite a while.
Adding an all-star onto a team that is playing great right now is not a bad thing. But I think what winds up happening is
you're going to find out.
Well, I think what winds up happening here is if they can score like this without Tyler Hero and win like this without Tyler Hero, if an offer does come before the trade deadline for a star player, you are totally willing to trade away Hero now.
I am willing to say that they're going to be good offensively, period. I don't believe Tyler Hero will harm them at all offensively. I do believe Norman Powell and Tyler Hero as your backcourt is a problem defensively. You're going to have a hard time. You're going to have a really hard time guarding anyone with that with both of them on the floor.
Historically, when this team has made runs, and I know Hero was a part of one of the runs, especially in the bubble, he had a big game, but this team does just fine without Tyler Hero.
They have, and I know what you're saying with Hero and Powell in the backcourt, but man, like they got dudes who can defend on this team. But when you have this lineup out there of Mitchell and Adebayo and Wiggins, those three guys, and maybe even throw Kello Ware there as a rim protector, They got guys who could defend.
Well, where I keep you guys tell me if you think I have this wrong. I love obviously where physically seeing someone like that make 3-pointers is still confusing to me. I despise his touch. Like I'm so spoiled. I'm so spoiled by big men having touch around the basket that I despise that he breaks the shot clock throwing the ball at the backboard when he's 3 feet from it.
There's a little bit of that there for sure. He can improve in terms of both his footwork and being able to have that touch around the rim when he can't just slam it over people. But I am a little confused on the hero front as to why someone who offensively, who has the skill set that he does, when you look at what this offense has been, why it would be considered a bad thing to add that type of player who can shoot way that he can. Maybe Amin can explain that to me, because to me, this seems like the first offense that the Heat have had that actually fits to his skill set.
Let's get your expertise here, please.
Let the past die. Kill it if you have to.
Yeah. He's on my side.
Isn't that what Mike is doing, though? Like living in the past of a run from 15 games 3 years ago?
It's time to move on is where you are on this. That's what Mike just said while you were in the penalty box for the 3rd time in 20 minutes, a record.
Well, that's not my fault. No, the reality is what you're looking at is a luxury, not a necessity anymore. Why are you guys laughing?
Mike Baiamonte is with us. He's the longtime Heat announcer. I regret going to Amin all 6 of the times I've gone to him in the first 20 minutes of the show.
That was good. He said I was right, I think.
Mike Baiamonte, I have in front of me here that is the 2nd longest streak in the NBA for an in-stadium announcer. I do not know the first. Do any of you know the first? I thought
Lawrence
he was.
Cantor.
I thought.
Okay.
Okay.
Los Angeles Lakers.
35 years he has been at it, and he joins us now. Zaz wants his job.
Look at this guy.
Yes, look
What a
at
legend. What a legend.
Good to see him.
Yeah, Mike.
Good to see you.
It is nice to see you. I have so many questions.
Good morning.
Congratulations on everything, and we were both happy for you and sad that you're going. Can you tell us why it is and how it is that you decided after 35 years that you had had enough?
Yeah, Dan, it was just time. It was a decision that took me almost a year to come to. I started having this conversation with my wife, Natalie, at the start of last season and said, I think maybe after this one, I've got one more left in me. And so I took all of last season thinking about this. Am I sure I want to do this? Kind of confirming or denying my thoughts. And when I got through last season, I said, you know what? Yeah, it's time. I'm happy. It's been a great career. One more, and then let's move on to the next chapter of life.
Any regret?
None.
Is it the traffic?
If I said traffic was not part of the whole equation, I'd be lying, but a small part, but it's something you think of more when you're sitting in it and it's not moving than anything else.
I do have a lot of questions. So can you tell me over your career how many games you've missed?
I have missed somewhere in the neighborhood of about 16 games over 35 seasons.
And the greatest mistake that you feel like you have made at the microphone? Do you have something that stands out? Because I imagine there are some nights when you go home, there have to be when you're doing that many nights, and you're like, I didn't get it right that time.
Yeah, I would probably say more games than not, at some point during the game, I make a mistake. It may not be noticeable by Heat fans or even by the front office or the people I work with, but there are small little mistakes that I notice that kind of, get under my skin a little bit. Obviously, the biggest one is one where I went off script one game when a player from the other team fouled out of a game. And if I had to do that again, I certainly would have done it differently.
Michael, you speak of the next chapter. What is the next chapter?
So it's the mayor of Heat Island. It's nice to see you, Mayor. So the next chapter will be my wife and I to enjoy our family as it's growing. We recently became grandparents. We have another daughter who's engaged to be married. Our children live around the country. They don't live in South Florida. So we'll get a chance to visit them more and enjoy their families as their families are growing. And she and I will get to enjoy life when we want to, not during a schedule when we have to.
What are the hardest parts of the job that people would have no idea about?
Saying no to family and friends when they invite you to do things, or there are family events or milestones that you have to miss. The other thing is really what it takes to keep your voice in shape, and not only the things you have to do, but the things you really have to stay away from. And that's, in a lot of times, that's just shutting down your voice and not being able to talk to your friends or talk to your family because you're trying to keep your chords right because you know you need them the next night or you need them that night just to stay in good shape so you're always at the top of your game for our Heat fans when they come out to support the team.
No, I totally get it, Mike. Sometimes you know what you have to do, but you don't know if you have the strength to do it.
There wasn't really a question there. He's just doing what he does there. So just forgive me. I'm just going to send him
2
away.
minutes, delay a show.
He's all Star Wars fans.
This is going to come up in the post show.
Mike, when did you start to feel comfortable adding in your personality, catchphrases, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I brought over, Zaz, a lot of my stuff from my days announcing college basketball when I was announcing at FIU. So when I moved over to start announcing for the Miami Heat, some of my stuff I brought with me, like too many steps and no basket.
Oh, tickle me.
And also 3. So I brought those over from my college days, and the team seemed to embrace it. The fans enjoyed it. They liked it. So nobody really wanted to upset the apple cart. So we ran with it. And since I had been doing that for, I guess, about a decade in college ball, it was comfortable for me. Some of the things that I brought to the table once I joined the Heat, including, and now stand up and make some noise for your Miami Heat. And then, of course, the iconic 2 minutes. Dos minutos. Those I was, I love it, Chris. Those I really felt comfortable with because of the fact that the team was so collaborative with me in saying to me, hey, we want you to come up with some ideas for some things to use in games. So stand up and make some noise and Dos Minutos were 2 creations that I was able to come up with, pitch them to the team. The team said, we'll take it. We want to try it. And obviously they've both been really successful. So a little of both, a little things I brought with me, but then that collaboration, Zaz, really made me feel like, yeah, we want to hear from you and we want you to give a shot at this.
The other thing that you're most known for is saying the opponent's names, like Luol Deng and that example. So did you bring that with you from FAU as well?
I did, Roy. It was something that the amount of enthusiasm I have for the home team, I want that matched with the sound of disdain out of my voice whenever we're talking about the bad guys. So whatever player that was, it's like, I could care less who you are, but they tell me I have to say your name. So here it is.
Okay, Mike, so this is something I've wanted to ask you for a really long time, and it's a great lead-in with what Roy just asked you. In 1999, we all know how that season ended. All right, Allen Houston, ball bounces around the rim, the backboard, and in. The Heat season is over. They lose. They were the 1 seed. Did you consider not saying Allen Houston? It was unnecessary, Mike. We all know we're screwed.
It was brutal. I guess I never considered not saying it. I only hoped I said it so poorly that no one heard it. But because it's lived on in infamy, that's a name that's going to be synonymous with some of those those opponent names that I've had to say over the years. That was one of the
Well,
toughest ones.
the reason that I remember Luol Deng is because Shaq and Dwayne Wade were knocked out in the first round, and it echoed throughout my nights. That guy saying Luol Deng that way for so long. So the opponent names that have hurt you the most to say over the years, if you gave me a top three, if you gave me a gold, silver, and bronze, go ahead and do bronze, silver, gold in that order. I imagine Allen Houston would be our gold.
Yeah, I think we spoiler alert. I think we have 2 of the 3 right there. Wow, I'm not sure who the bronze is. There's no question. Silver is Luol Deng, and the gold is without a doubt Allen Houston. Maybe the bronze is. I mean, it'd be too easy just to say Michael Jordan, but
How hard was it to have to say Dwayne Wade?
It was, Zaz, it was very strange. It was, as I prepped myself for that game, I knew every time he scored, I would have to take a second, just a beat, and just remind myself, visiting team. Because for all my life, it was Dwayne Wade, and now all of a sudden it had to become Dwayne Wade. It was just so strange. It was just so odd.
Michael, can I nominate Game 7, 2000, timeout Knicks?
Oh, that's a rough one. I mean,
Yes, that was one of our very first games ever in the arena we play in now, and that was the Knicks call timeout.
In a totally dead silent arena. Let's do happier times. Let's do the top 5 Heat names over the years that Mike Baiamonte says he has most nailed. We will start with number 5 unless you have some OLIs. Do you have OLI or do you want to go with number 5?
I'm ready to go with number 5.
All right, number 5.
Goran Dragic.
Number 4.
P.J. Brown.
yeah.
That's good syllable music there. He can hear the music in the syllables. Number 3.
Mario Chalmers.
Number 2.
Yeah, I mean, Chris is at a concert right now.
It's
He's
so
just
good.
singing along,
It's so
clapping.
good. Hey, he's going to look up
Giving
my
the
number
same
1, and we're
cadence.
not going to be wearing any clothes.
I am so. Oh, I love
He's like playing Wonderwall.
I'm not wearing pants.
I'm going to wake up next to Simone Fontecchio. Number 2.
Bimbo.
Oh,
Cole.
good one.
And then you all know the favorite. You all know number 1. And I think strategically he's kept LeBron James out of here. Number 1.
Udonis. Hey. Slow.
Mike, how often did you make? Oh, yes, excellent work. I
Sasha
should let
nailed
that
it.
sit a little bit. How often did you make opponents mad at you? What is the angriest that some opponents got mad at you?
I had one opponent get pretty angry with me. Old Orlando Magic player. Everybody knew him as Bo Outlaw. I never called him Bo his entire career. I found out that his given name was Charles.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so I called him Charles Outlaw.
That's awesome.
Every time he came and played in Miami. And the first time I did it, he walked over to the scorer's table and he looked me right in the eye and he said, "My name's not Charles. My name is Bo. Only my mom calls me Charles." I said, "Well, your name is Charles, and you're playing in my arena, so you're Charles Outlaw."
Wow,
awesome.
that is a man who was a physical menace. That man was as sculpted, and that guy was not to be trifled with.
Well, when you've got the scores table between you, you have a little more courage than I guess you would any other way. I will say this. Charles laughed, and every time he came to Miami, he would always eyeball me when I would introduce him as Charles Outlaw, but we always shared a good laugh with it.
Awesome.
Your name is Charles and you're playing in my arena is the punctuation that I would put on a 35-year career as to how it is that the Heat will talk to you when you enter their arena.
Mike, did you ever have any incidents with referees?
No, nothing of a negative sort. And certainly didn't want that. You wanted to be as friendly as you could with them. But you learn early in your career whether you think the call is right or not. The call is the call, and so you show it the respect that it needs when you announce it. You don't play it up or play it down. Although I have been known when an opposing player commits an offensive foul to maybe give it a little something extra.
Mike, I assume you have a lot of stroke over at the Heat, and they announced that there's going to be a nationwide search to replace you.
I'm right here.
We are obviously caping up for Jonathan Zaslow. Can you put in a good word for the boy?
Absolutely. I'm going to be more than happy to put in a word for our boy Zaz.
The word will be no.
There will be a search, and we're certainly excited and looking forward to all the submissions, including Zaz's, and finding out who the next voice of the Miami Heat will be. I think it's an exciting time.
Wait, I'm just finding something out. It's a little ridiculous because he's in costume, but he broke character to tell me sincerely, Amin is also gunning for this job. He wants the job sincerely.
Okay, so now we've got two that have already shown up on the list. I'm looking forward to who else may be there.
What about me?
I think that, listen, as long as you hold that me, that's awesome.
Or perhaps someone with credibility and experience. Touchdown, Miami Seaquarium.
Do you have any advice for people who are angling for the job?
My biggest point for advice would be, don't come in and try to copy what we've had there for 35 years. Be your own person. Be your own voice. Do it your way. Don't try to do it like someone else. I don't think that's going to work.
Perhaps I am out.
Do you think that you are going to get emotional here at some point before the last game?
I can't see how I won't, Dan. It's been a huge part of my life and made so many friends and so many great memories. I certainly think I will. I just hope I can keep my composure and not show too much of a breakdown, but I can't see how I might not.
Have you been taken aback at all by what has already, I'm sure, been an outpouring for you? Because people, when you said you weren't going to be back, there was an audible sadness in the arena.
Yeah, since the announcement came out on Saturday, Dan, it's been incredibly overwhelming. Just the outpour of appreciation, of the nice comments. It made you feel kind of your age a little bit, as I'm hearing from people. Oh, since I was 4 years old, you're the voice I know. Those are nice to hear too. It's kind of been a generational thing. It's been, as I said, it's been overwhelming. I'm just so thankful for the relationship that I've had with these Heat fans for these 3+ decades. The love and support they've shown me, the fun we've had together. It's been amazing.
Mike, a delight talking to you, a delight hearing from you
Legend.
for 35 years, and I hope before you leave that you'll come through the studio right here across from the arena and spend some time with us so that
Come
we
on,
can,
Dan, let's keep them for 2 minutes.
so that you can, so we could say goodbye properly and in person.
Thank you, Dan. You know what? I'll be happy to do that. Let's make that happen.
All right. Thank you, sir. Enjoyed all of it.
Thank you.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
We are on the DraftKings network Monday through Friday, 11 to 2 p.m. You can also catch us on YouTube, obviously, Samsung TV Plus, the Roku channel, Vizio, Watch Free Plus, and there are many, many more. Peacock, NBC Sports Now, that's Monday through Friday, 12 to 3, and also Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Sirius XM Channel 85 as well. We are continuing to add more and more networking possibilities. What are you shaking your head about,
Wow, look at us, man. We're everywhere.
Hey, #1 podcast on Apple this morning when I checked.
That is, I think we should get imaging for that. That we are #1 on Wednesday mornings when you checked.
That's right.
#1 sports podcast. I saw something driving to the airport the other day. Someone's going to have to help me with this. There was a billboard, and I think the podcast's name was only in Miami. I'm not sure. The billboard said #1 podcast in Miami, and I'm like, that can't be right.
Because that's me.
Us. I know you think it's you, but it's us.
I was doing Dan Le Batard.
I know you were.
Scene.
I know you were doing Dan Le Batard.
Yeah.
You
Don't do another penalty, all right? You've done too
Don't
much.
do it.
But that can't be right. How can you say you're the number one podcast in Miami when you're not?
I mean, you can say whatever you want.
Thank you, Zaz.
No, that's false advertising.
No,
That's not.
No. That's you can do that.
You aware of what's going on in the world right now?
So everybody can just lie to
No
your
rules.
face?
Prices are down 600%.
Okay, so
You
no
can
rules.
just say whatever you want.
I mean, I see CBS all the time. They say NCIS is the number one watch show in the country. I don't know anyone who watched that show.
Well, but wait a minute.
I've never. Hey, Dan, have you ever heard a single person say, "Did you see this week's episode of NCIS?"
It's a good question.
I always assume it's old white people in the Midwest.
That's what Yellowstone was doing.
It's their slogan, CBS.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Should CBS's slogan be "Old white people in the Midwest"? Yes or no? The things that I wanted to talk to you guys about today before we get started in earnest. One of them is Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan talking. This has been received how? Because a pre-taped interview that Mike Tirico did before the season that is going to run all season and be insights into excellence and is just old guy saying, in my day, I played all the minutes.
I think it's been received pretty positively.
Well, this is just Michael Jordan getting applause for an opinion. Amin is shaking his head no. I
don't know what you guys are doing. The segment is called Insights into Excellence, not insights into, oh, my elbow hurts, I need to sit down for 2 weeks. Excellence. He is excellence, and he's giving us his insights into it. That's it. That's the segment. What are you guys searching for?
More and better.
Better than Michael Jordan?
Look, I can understand wanting more.
Better than Michael Jordan.
Better.
And also, more, you know what they say? You leave them wanting more. This is show business, kid. Wake up.
I don't want more of this.
What?
You're lying.
Not more of
You're
this.
lying.
Well, no, more of this I don't want. More of a taped interview. Milking a taped interview all season is not what I want.
Would you feel better about it if you had different clothes on and it seemed like a different day?
Yeah, that would help.
I probably would. If you change the locale once in a while, you know what? It's an excellent production note by you. Yes, that would help so that later in this season, when they're giving me the last drivel that they haven't already given me, generally speaking, when someone sits down with Michael Jordan or anyone for an hour, what you get is the 3 best minutes. Here, you're going to get the whole hour. You're going to get everything he and Tirico talked about spliced out over time so that by the finals, there's nothing left but Michael Jordan giving you cliches because they had to give you the best stuff early. So here's Michael Jordan giving you the most predictable position possible about load management. Everyone's going to applaud this. Play as much as Michael Jordan does.
I never wanted to miss a game because it was an opportunity to prove. It was something that I felt like, the fans are there to watch me play. I want to impress that guy way up on top who probably worked his ass off to get a ticket or to get money to buy the ticket.
You really cared about the guy who sat in the top deck at the Palace in Auburn Hills to watch you when you came to Detroit?
Yeah, because I know he's probably yelling at me, and I want to shut him up. He's calling me all kinds of names. I definitely want to shut him up.
Right.
You have a duty that if they're wanting to see you, and as an entertainer, I want to show, right? So if the guys are coming to watch me play, I don't want to miss that opportunity. Now, physically, if I can't do it, then I can't do it. But physically, if I can do it, and I just don't feel like doing it, that's a whole different lens.
You want
hanging on every word.
More and better than that? He just told you that the guy in the back row of the Palace in Auburn Hills worked hard for his money to buy that ticket. And so he owes him a duty to go out there and shut him the hell up because he's still Michael Jordan.
I love that.
And he holds grudges.
I love it when I go to a concert and they're like, hey, we see you up there. Yeah!
How's everybody in the 300 level doing? Dan, Michael Jordan was 40 years old in his last year. He played in all 82 games for a bad Wizards team. He's allowed to talk like this. Look at it. You look at his stats. He played 82 games every year.
Zaz, and you know what happened in that last season? The Wizards led the league in road attendance.
Right.
In road attendance,
Superstar.
right? The number one team, not Shaq and Kobe Lakers, not Allen Iverson Sixers, not the Knicks who have 1 million Knicks fans in every city. The number one road attraction that season was the Washington Wizards. You know why?
Rip Hamilton.
Because the best player ever was retiring?
Because you knew Michael Jordan was going to play.
Because he's going to play, and he was devoted to giving everyone in that arena insights into excellence.
I did enjoy him pivoting from the softer, if someone worked hard and paid their money to watch me play, I want to entertain that person. And then when Tirico asked the follow-up, he's like, and shut that person up. What I actually wanted to do is I didn't want to hear anything from up there anymore because he's fueled by rage still.
No, that's a great job by Mike Tirico because this is a good job in humanizing someone who's a part of NBA lore, right? Who has built up a certain air of mystery around him. And it helps the entire segment because when he speaks, it has gravity, it has weight to it because of who he is. Tirico, identifies, hey, this is something that humanizes you. This is something that has you thinking about the common man. Let me stay here and further ingratiate you to our audience. Amazing job.
2 straight weeks where he's appeared to be human, and then he pulled the rug and showed us, I'm still Michael Jordan. And I love that, right?
I don't want to fake.
Cliche, no cliche.
I don't want to get to know my heroes. Let him just be a mythological character. But the other thing, Dan, which I think he's doing a great job of, and NBC's doing a great job of, is it's not what I guess, and I love the TNT guys, but the TNT brand of nostalgia, which is everything sucks, we're better, these guys who do better. He never puts it in the context of right now. He says, why did you play all those games? Because I felt like I had to. Not like, none like these soft guys. He just said, because I had to, in the same way where he said, would you want to play, if you still could, he said, man, I wish I could take a pill and come back and put on the shorts and play again so that I can measure myself against what other people consider greatness. Again, on the surface,
Goosebumps.
It sounds like he just wants to play again, guys.
He's a good analyst.
He wants to compete. But reality underneath is he's letting you know, hey, man, I want to see this thing. You guys think this is good?
What other people consider greatness.
Exactly. As Jay Adonde eloquently said, that is the pregame layup line of shade for Michael Jordan.
I think we're in a place where saturating the market with coverage is a good thing for the NBA. People were starved.
Peacock and Amazon are doing a great job.
They're doing a fantastic job. And look, ESPN is upgraded by bringing in the Turner guys. I mean, the rest of their coverage could learn a little bit from that, but it also kind of shines a light on how bad NBA coverage has been over the last 20 years. I mean, you have an apples-to-apples comparison with Udonis Haslem right now, and he's just totally been unlocked by Amazon.
He's really good.
And it really, as someone who thinks a little bit like a producer, makes me really disappointed in what the NBA producers have done over at ESPN, wasting talents like this, because you watch Udonis Haslem on Amazon, and you're like, wow, ESPN could have used this guy.
This was a frustration of both David Stern and Adam Silver that ESPN could never get right. Never mind that you can't be inside the NBA. Nobody can be inside the NBA. But they could never actually get right the thing that you're talking about, which is just simply, for example, unlocking Udonis Haslem. I enjoyed Giannis against Brunson and the Knicks so much last night, and it was different. It felt different than what I'm used to with my broadcasts, and usually most things are so familiar in sports that when something's different, there's almost an initial visceral reaction to, I don't like that better. It's too different. I noticed the difference in the broadcast, and I appreciated last night specifically, just on a random Tuesday night, Giannis and Brunson watching the end of the game and it feeling different than all the other broadcasts I've been watching for 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things. So I told Mike before the show, it is production, because I remember going to do SportsCenter, and when you're about to do SportsCenter, they say, hey, we need you for the 9 o'clock show. Your hit's around 9:30. Be there by 9:15. You're in the green room. Now, when I'm in the green room and there are NFL guys, the producers will come downstairs and sit with these guys for up to 30 minutes sometimes, watching film. Oh, should we use this clip? Oh, what about this? What are you seeing in this cover too? Like actual analysis that they're trying to produce for the segment. For me, and for other NBA analysts, it's not just me. It was Tim Legler. It was everyone else who did NBA. You just get a bunch of really rote questions about, hey, what do you think the Knicks need to do to get over? Like, it was just no investment in it. And it goes back to, Dan, I've talked about this before, the thumb of the commissioner. Roger Goodell is on ESPN's ass to get their stuff.
But so
together.
Silver and Stern were too.
Stern was.
Yeah,
Silver hasn't been. Not in the way, the direct and blunt way the NFL and the old NBA was. And I think that's a big reason why the new people came in and they're like, oh, Dad wants it this way. He's not going to like make a big show about it, but we kind of got the vibes of the way they feel about ESPN. They want it to be done a certain way. And the curious thing about it is the two networks are doing it in different ways. As we said, NBC, playing nostalgia, right? But not a nostalgia of this thing stinks. It's just like, hey, this is cool. This is all part of the same tapestry. So Bob Costas doing monologues for both of those games last night immediately upped the value. Immediately. It went from just, okay, there's a game on to, woo, oh my God, what are the stakes here? The Knicks and the Bucks? Whoa, they were both good in the 70s, and now they're good again? And like, it sets everything up for you. Man, it's weird. I learned last night that the Warriors have the third most titles behind Boston and LA. Like I know that conceptually, but it shocked me hearing Costas say that. But that's what those things are for, to drum up those emotions. Meanwhile, Amazon is like, we're going into the future. The court lights up under them, and Taylor Rooks is over there in the corner, and there's a circle around there, and they're doing it a different way. Not better, not worse, just different, but they're all a higher production value and a higher level of care from the production than the predecessors.
It's such a great point that Amazon feels like it's moving into the future. Like, you're watching these guys break down the game, and so what's great about it is when you have, it's Blake Griffin who adds his fun personality to it, and Dirk and Steve Nash and Udonis Haslem, and these guys who have a taste of what the previous era of basketball was, but can explain to you how basketball is changing with not just X's and O's that you're watching on the screen, and you're seeing people circle stuff on the screen and break things down the way that at the best of moments on ESPN they've done with Tim Legler. It's not a film breakdown in that way. It's them standing on a physical court with shadows underneath them as they set up what a team's offense looks like. And to see these guys not pitted against each other in some sort of debate where they're talking about what's going to happen with Giannis's future in a game that doesn't even involve Giannis, they're actually just breaking down the game. So when you go into that game or you come back from halftime, you actually have a better understanding of what you're watching. And when you can watch something and feel informed, that's when it's the most fun to be able to watch.
What Jeremy is describing, ladies and gentlemen, is a lot of broadcasts, they want to go to predictive. Who's going to win? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? Predict it. Tell the future. Tell me what's going to happen. When the customer, a lot of times, doesn't even understand what just happened. Exactly. And so those guys are taking the time to say, this is what's happening. Not just this is the play, Jeremy, but also them telling you the options, right? When Udonis is saying, when I get here, I'm going to roll really hard because might be my only opportunity as a role player to get the ball. They're not going to call plays for me, right? Where Steve's telling you, I'm reading where the defender's going. If he's going under, then I'm going to take a step back and now I've got the shot. But if they try to lock and trail, I'm going to go this way. It is explaining and teaching people basketball rather than trying to predict the future.
That part is huge because you have analysts, you have all this new blood, guys that aren't too far removed from the game. And while TNT was the industry gold standard, they have a cast that is largely filled with guys that haven't played in 25 plus years. Shaq's a guy that was most recently retired. We haven't seen Shaq since the 2010s. There was an evolution in the game that wasn't unlike baseball. There was a huge analytical shift to the entire sport. And you didn't have guys, God bless Kenny Smith, you didn't have guys that could actually explain what was happening in the nuances of the game, and you don't realize that you're starved for it until you start getting those options.
Mike, you know what's weird? It's not that they couldn't or didn't know how. And I know I can speak very confidently, this is about Shaq, maybe not Charles, probably not Kate, but definitely with Shaq. He understood the new way of playing. I tell the story all the time. The year the Warriors won their first title in 2014-15, I saw him in Phoenix, and he said to me, who do you think is going to win it all? I said, who do you think is going to win it all, big fella? He said, no one's beating them light-skinned boys out of Golden State. That's what he said to me. He said, they're going to – this was like in January or February he said this. So, and now on TV, everyone will be like, Shaq says, you shoot too many threes, give it to the big man. But in reality, Shaq's like, no, that's how basketball is played. And then he pulls out his phone. He shows me his son, Sharif, who at the time was a sophomore in high school, 6'9", everything he was doing was perimeter, shooting threes. Like, I'm teaching him everything facing the basket because the way I played doesn't apply anymore. He knew this, but when Shaq goes on air, he feels a responsibility to defend his era, and the way we did it was better. And Charles, I think, actually feels that way. And Kenny, Kenny gives his analysis, but he's not going to push back too hard on the other two. And that's how you get a broadcast that says everything now stinks and everything the way we did it was so much better.
Can you guys look up for me when it was that Kenny joined Charles? And I want to go through the evolution of that.
Pretty sure
Kenny was first.
Kenny was first.
So forgive me. Ernie and Charles end up joining what was Ernie and Kenny, correct? It was Ernie and Kenny, and then they add Charles. And then many years later, they add Shaq. And Shaq, even though he's a mumbler, he's an entertainer, Shaq ends up fitting in a way that doesn't disrupt that show too much. But the thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about, because I've seen 3 of these guys locally now try and make this change. We're talking about in Udonis Haslem, Dwayne Wade, and Jason Taylor. Okay, the 3 of them end their playing careers and are now searching for the thing that they want to do next. And they pour themselves with the same intensity that they poured themselves into being great the previous 20 years at sports. They're like, I want to do this as a broadcaster now and be great at it. Jason Taylor goes to ESPN, realizes after a year, nope, not for me. Don't want to do this.
I don't even remember Jason Taylor.
Don't want to fly up here, stand on a spot, and get these silly questions that are not entertaining to me, not interesting to me. I'm not going to become a great broadcaster here. Shane Battier, same sort of thing. Struggled with it, trying to find their voice after retiring, but really pouring themselves into the same work ethic that they applied to sports. They're now applying to what is the realization, I've got the rest of my life to live. So Jason Taylor says, nope, I'm going to coaching, and now is going to be a head coach somewhere, is doing it the hardest way. You never see a Hall of Fame coach deciding to be a defensive line coach on a college team. That's not a normal thing. So Jason Taylor has chosen his path. Dwayne Wade, broadcasting, he liked it, did some of it, but has bigger power moves in play. The interesting one to me is Udonis Haslem, because he has been unlocked by Amazon. And when I saw him on First Take in a suit, right, in a suit and tie, I was like, that doesn't feel like Udonis Haslem. Suit and tie, all buttoned up and like playing within confines. And he was limited trying to do First Take, did his best, but now clearly has the space and is super serious about being good at it. So he is going to be good at it and is already leaps and bounds better than he was 18 months ago.
He's excellent. And I know he's not only a local legend, but he's a friend of the show. But can we call him a fraud already?
Whoa.
Udonis Haslem, because you remember his last season, we had him on the show. We asked him, so what's next? You going to do media? Or like, he's like, he acted like we spat in his face to say do media. And now all of a sudden the guy loves the camera, loves the microphone.
You just called Shaq a fraud.
No, I didn't.
You kind of
did.
You said that. You said that on television he was saying you got to play my way, but in private he was saying those light-skinned boys are going to win the championship.
You said that.
You said that.
Amin Al-Hassan.
I said that. I didn't say the word fraud. I don't think anything he was doing was fraudulent. I think Shaq feels a responsibility.
That is the definition of fraudulence.
Nope.
To say one thing behind the scenes and the opposite thing on television.
Sometimes you got to do the right thing in one place and the right thing somewhere else. It's different things that can both be right, Dan.
Those both can't be right.
Yes, they can.
Classic Dan, putting words in your mouth. Don't let him do it.
Those things can't be both right. Either you play the way Shaq does or you play the way the Warriors do. You can't play both of those ways. Those are two different ways of playing.
He called him a showman, not a fraud.
Cleaning up what you asked before, Inside the NBA began in 89. Ernie Johnson started hosting in 90. Kenny Smith joined him in 98. Barkley in 2000. Shaq in 2011.
You've seen on television the growth of that show, and adding Shaq was the ingredient that was most turbulent possibilities, and they navigated it and became an even better show because of the size and weight of everything that Shaq is doing, and how often it seems like while Charles and him are fighting, they also love each other, but they might also come to blows over arguing about things the way that brothers and friends do.
It's a pretty balls move adding Shaq, because the show was already considered all-time great. and then they're just adding Shaq in there. That's a move.
It took a minute.
Well, yeah, he wasn't great the first year.
No, he wasn't. Like, he was serious, and
there was a lot of mumbling.
It was good production, and I'm sure the other guys on the cast were like, let's lean into this friction. Let's lean into you being a goof, because when you do things, it's funnier than when anybody else does things. And then he found his role. But it did take I would say it took a couple of seasons.
By the way, Shaq had to have joined after 2011. He was still in the NBA at that point, like a couple years after that. But okay, yeah.
The fourth seat was a kind of, they tried Magic, if you remember, before Magic with ESPN. He was on that.
Was Chris Webber on?
Chris Webber was on that as well. They tried different names.
They've had Magic Johnson at one point, Reggie Miller.
Yeah, Steve Martin as well.
Martin also, that's the first
He
name
was really
said.
good. I thought he brought a lot of props.
This time I'll penalize myself.
Yeah, get out of here.
No, that's okay. You don't have to penalize yourself. I'll do it.
Wow.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes for verbal diarrhea.
Wow.
And you can get an extra penalty here as well.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes for not listening to the show.
Thank you guys for helping.
4 minutes.
I'll teach him the research.
But then ultimately, what we're talking about with all of this is the power of production, and that people believe all I need is names. Just throw some names on, and that's it. And it'll be awesome. Everyone's going to watch. That's been ESPN's approach to doing Countdown for years, right? Whether it was Bill Simmons at one point, whether it was Magic Johnson. I remember having a conversation with a ESPN producer when I was on my rocket ship going to the moon. Sports Station's going great. The Jump is going great. Highly Questionable is going great. Everyone loves me. And I'm like, so when do you think I'll get to be on Countdown? You know, maybe it's like a day where everyone wanted a day off or whatever. I'm not a regular, but just one time. And the producer, who's a friend, said, never. And I said, what? I was so shocked by how blunt and straightforward. And my producer said, I had to fight to get Jalen Rose on and to get Tracy McGrady on and Chauncey Billups on, because they said, oh, well, these guys aren't Hall of Famers, right? And other than Chauncey, they haven't won championships. Had to fight, and those guys are good, right? But Scottie Pippen was like a green light the whole way, because it's Scottie Pippen, 6 rings. It doesn't matter if he doesn't say a single thing that's interesting or insightful.
He was terrible.
He's Scottie Pippen. That's an okay.
What's Chauncey up to these days?
He was terrible. He was really bad, Scottie Pippen. Amin will tell you, I don't know what can be told about Pablo and what you're doing for tomorrow's episode of Pablo Torre Finds Out. But since Zaz is asking about what's Chauncey Billups up to these days, you guys are going to update in a way that's exclusive, and Pablo is dominating this space. This is going to be a pod that has a lot of, again, thorough information no one else has, correct?
Yes. So, again, we started investigating this with the July episode back. It was about Malik Beasley, but it was a lot about this peripheral characters here. Right before that announcement happened, as I told you the other day, earlier that week, we knew these indictments were coming. We knew who was getting indicted, right? So we actually were supposed to record that week. It then ended up getting postponed because we knew Kash Patel was going to do his Dog and Pony show. And so we ended up recording it at a later date. And so tomorrow, the fruits of our labors, which is going to be a deep dive in the connective tissue. The connective tissue that is going to bring to light how all of these different cases, whether it's Shante Porter, whether it's Terry Rozier, whether it's Chauncey Billups, whether it's Damon Jones, they're all connected. They feel disparate, but they all have a connection point, and that's what we're going to go in depth on.
I urge you also to listen to Pablo Torre Finds Out, where John Skipper and David Sampson do the latest episode of The Sporting Class. A lot of really good information there. David Sampson and John Skipper cover sports business with Pablo better than I've heard on any sports podcast. So Pablo Torre Finds Out. It dropped at like 2 o'clock in the morning, that one, for the insomniacs out there. And tomorrow's episode is another one where he's got more terrain that he is covering with Amin and others that just others have not been able to do. Pablo is lapping the NBA media when it comes to a lot of his coverage.
Because, Dan, we're not chasing tidbits of information or factoids of things that are about to happen. What we're chasing is tangible evidence, documents, testimony, evidence that even provided by some people unwittingly. That's what the hallmark of the reporting has been, at least on the things that I've worked on with Pablo. And every time there's stuff that I know going in, and there's always stuff that I get shocked and surprised by. And guess what? Tomorrow I'm shocked and surprised by something, and there is a Miami reference in it, so stay tuned.
Pablo Torre finds out tomorrow at noon is when that one is dropping. We'll have Pablo on to talk about it. We were talking before about Amazon and how futuristic it is. We're trying to keep up with Amazon by taking tape-recorded calls from listeners. That's how we try to keep up in the future with Amazon. The telephone number is 305-486-GOTS, 305-486-4689. It's the Boost Mobile Hot Take Line.
And it's presented by Boost Mobile, the newest 5G network in the country.
You guys are such fat slob indoor kids that Andrew Luck riding a bike to work is totally unbelievable to all of you.
We as a human society, we breathe too much. Cornhole. No thanks.
Dave Damashek has made me hate the Pittsburgh accent more than the Boston accent.
Jeremy looks like the kind of guy who brings his own helmet when he goes to rent a Segway.
You know, based on his recent poker losses, plus the NBA investigation, you guys should probably just refer to Nick Wright as the fish going forward.
Adam Silver looks like an end zone pylon.
Alex Rodriguez looks like a bronze statue of Alex Rodriguez.
Anyone who chooses blue raspberry as their favorite Jolly Rancher flavor needs to figure things out better.
Jonathan Taylor sounds like a forefather.
Does Jonathan Zaslow look like a magical thumb that grants wishes?
There's not one deep pass out there, da-na-na-na-na. No one to hear our prayer. Tua, you can't throw the deep ball. Won't somebody help us chase the Dolphins' curse away? Tua, you can't throw the deep ball. Won't somebody help us chase the Dolphins' curse away?
We could have edited out the last 25 seconds of that and not lost very much. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Cornhole, no thanks. Yes or no?
Who says that?
And also, does A-Rod look like a bronze statue of A-Rod?
Spot on.
I'm looking forward to the documentary that's coming out at the beginning of November, HBO Max, Alex versus A-Rod. I would be curious, though, how much he had control over the content. You'll be able to figure out pretty early on by watching it whether or not he was controlling the content or not. I would recommend to everyone listening to this, I'll actually tell you guys a story that I have not told before that was wildly interesting to watch happen in real time with A-Rod. Billy Corbin and Raconteur, they only make good documentaries. They don't make any other kind. And they went behind the scenes. Have you seen this documentary? No. Okay, you really should watch it. It was about what a clown show steroids was in baseball when it ran through Ryan Braun and Manny Ramirez and A-Rod, and how it was all these strip malls in South Florida and tanning salons that were just basically fueling these $100 million contracts. And ESPN did this with Billy Corbin and Raconteur. They had a documentary about A-Rod, and it's got all the dirt. But A-Rod was an employee of ESPN at the time. So the documentary just went away. It's no longer on ESPN, no longer going to be made by ESPN just because A-Rod was an employee at ESPN. And thankfully, they didn't just kill it, because they could have just kept it and thrown it in a closet, but they allowed it to get made. Can you guys get me the name of the documentary? It's worth watching. I'm guessing it'll be better. If A-Rod had any creative control over the one on Max, it will not be as interesting as this one was, which didn't have A-Rod in it, but took you through the dirt of Miami and how, just what a clown show. You guys think this FBI stuff and this NBA investigation stuff is stupid? You should have seen how far behind Major League Baseball was on steroids and how poorly they investigated the stuff that changed their entire sport. Billy Corbin got into the thicket of that. Get me the name of that documentary. Yeah, Screwball. Thank you. And it's really excellent. And I recommend it to everyone who's listening here. Can you also get me, Chris, the useless sound montage? Because we have gone too long in the week without getting to all of the useless sound from the football weekend, and I want to unleash that on the unsuspecting public.
Probably one of the worst experiences I've had in terms of waking up.
First, congratulations to the Green Bay Packers on a victorious performance.
You know, some days, man, these things you can be humbled, and today was one of those days.
You mean the process is the process.
It seemed to be more cosmetic than anything.
Tale of two halves right there. Before you can learn how to consistently win, you have to learn how not to lose.
I mean, we're all men, coaches included.
They stuffed us pretty good. They stuffed us pretty good up front.
I love finish. I preach finish.
We have a lot of experience bouncing back from bad plays, to be honest.
We were not good on a lot of aspects of football today.
This is a good football team, talking about us, that did not play very well today.
We know the reality in this league that you can lose multiple games in a row because of the parity of this league and the good players and the teams and the coaches.
What was your overall message to the team?
This is sort of the swag I think we got to continue to flow over to next week's game. The way I understood it was a Benadryl type situation.
Different attitude, different energy, finishing plays. Really was more how in terms of how we do things.
I don't think he took Benadryl. I don't know what he took.
I wasn't very good today. I don't think Flus thinks he was very good today. Clayton doesn't think he was good, very good today.
We made the points when it counted, so it was a good team win.
This is a game of players making plays, especially in crucial times.
There's some good moments and some not so good moments.
In football, it's always us, all of us.
We just simply got to get a lot better in a lot of areas, in all areas, but some really specific areas.
I think someone needs to step up and lead the group.
I have a lot of trust and faith in them, and it didn't work out. Not going to get any particulars though with it.
A lot of frustration along the sideline. My message to the group is this is one game right here.
He was a beast. He was a man possessed.
I know the value of being a two-dimensional offense.
That field flipping play on third down, we laid the ball up to him. He made a catch and run. I thought was a significant component of the texture of the second half.
Anytime you win in the National Football League, it's a good win.
Good teams, they look at it, they look in the mirror. Adversity is a good thing.
They did a nice job today, and we did not do a well job today. We just need some guys to step up. I'm not going to sit here and name names. We just need guys to step up.
We can't settle for field goals versus good people.
The preparation piece had to be where it needed to be.
We will look at this film. We will take it and correct the things that need to be corrected and right the ship based on the things that we've been doing.
I feel like I've heard and seen it all, so.
The outcomes of the game is much different, in my opinion, if all three phases aren't working in concert at that point.
I would say that was one of the better team wins that we've had in all three phases.
Field flipping type plays were significant plays. They were catalysts for drive engineering, the 2 touchdown drives or whatever in the third quarter.
It seems like by the end of these last 2 games, you've not been moving wonderfully.
Thank you. Do you want to race?
Mac Jones becoming a secret star in these, laughing at his own jokes, delighted with his own giggling.
Can your quarterback laugh like that?
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Can your quarterback laugh like that?
Not if his name is McCorkle.
I've got a number of different things to promote here over the next couple of days, but before I do that, did you guys see or read the quotes from Tom Aspinall's dad? Because the no contest that ended the UFC fight in a really disappointing fashion, the details have gotten worse. If you saw what it is that we showed you, which was Aspinall with a finger in his eye, knuckle deep in his eye, an eye gouge ended the UFC heavyweight fight, and it was hard to watch. And now, literally hard to watch, is anything that Tom Aspinall is doing, because his father says he's got no vision in his left eye, none, can't see anything out of his left eye. And the other one's a little bit gray, too. And so they seem super concerned. Never mind about the career of Tom Aspinall, which would be secondary to the idea of you never go into a UFC fight calculating the dangers and think that blindness is going to end up being what you end up fearing in the hospital afterwards. So those quotes were just, when I read them, I'm like, oh my God, this guy is such a good champion, such a good fighter, and could not have thought that that fight would end up going that way. The no contest is one kind of disappointing, but then to have that where the fear involved with, I can't see stuff out of one eye and the other eye's kind of gray too, it's just horrifying.
That's always one of the things I'm squeamish about in like movies when dudes are fighting and you know, usually it's a guy who's being choked and his way to get out of the choking is he then pushes in your eyeballs, you know, like I always have to look away. That really gross. It makes me want to puke.
Let's advertise a couple of the things that we've got going on this week. Amin was talking about the costume that he will be wearing tomorrow night when we go to the Miller Lite watch party. Miami and Baltimore are playing the Thursday night game, and we're really excited about this one. It's a block party. We've never been to Kendall this way. We have never done anything like this way. We're looking forward to being with our Miami fans in an open space here, and we're going to have a costume contest, $1,500 to the best costume. And also, tomorrow night, we haven't even talked about the World Series yet. That had to be feel good for Vlad Guerrero last night to hit it specifically off of Shohei. To like, okay, big guy, I've hit everything hard this entire postseason. I've got 7 home runs. I'm kind of great, too. To take a 2-1 pitch from Shohei to when they needed Shohei last night to stay out of the bullpen, the Blue Jays tie that series. Jeremy, tomorrow night, is going to throw a watch party on YouTube with an assortment of guests. Pitch Clock Live is basically what you're doing, right?
Absolutely, and even better news, it's actually tonight. You don't have to wait. Game 5 is tonight, and we're going to be doing a watch-along on YouTube. Myself, Chris Cody, Ethan's going to have some trivia games ready for us. You might see June Lee. You'll probably see Aram Layton. You might see Marlins broadcasters, maybe David Sampson, probably Adnan Virk. These are the answers that we've gotten from these folks,
what
including,
about your girlfriend?
Hey, Jane Levy, she'll be there at intermission of Damn Yankees because she accidentally bought tickets before she figured out it was going to be Game 5 of the World Series. All those names and more celebrating baseball Game 5 tonight as the winner has a 64% chance of winning the entire World Series.
It is a genuine World Series, right? This feels like a more genuine World Series than all the other World Series that have been played before it because you've got an American team, you've got a Canadian team, and you've got stars that are Japanese in it. Like I know that World Championship is often what we say in the NBA, and it is because the world is playing in the NBA. But this is the first World Series that feels like this feels most like a World Series, given that you've got Japan, Canada. Japan and Canada probably care about this more than America does.
The moments last night were a Canadian-born Dominican hitting a homer off of a Japanese legend, and then Andres Jimenez, a Venezuelan guy who came through the Dominican Republic at the New York Mets Academy, singling to advance the lead. That's the type of internationality that exists in this World Series. It has been spectacular, and it has lived up to anything anyone could have hoped for it as we head into Game 5.
This is why you're the boy toy that Jane Levy loves more than all the other boy toys she has.
Jane, thank you so much for taking the time to join me today.
For you, boy toy, anything.
Number 1 podcast. When Mike Ryan checks. On Wednesday mornings. The best in the land.
That is routinely true. We are often number 1 sports podcast in America on Wednesday mornings when Mike Ryan checks. That's a thing that is absolutely true.
These are just facts.
That is not false advertising. Since we're playing music, though, can you get me the Polka Nakua that was me just saying Puka Nakua incorrectly one time and then you guys deciding to make a Polka Nakua song?
Dan calling Puka Nakua Polka Nakua, and nobody on the show catching him on it.
We need to get in the lab. All right, Hee-Haw 3, you have been tasked with making the Polka Nakua.
I want to talk to you guys for a second about precision. Puka, the rest of you doesn't have to get open. Just your hands. Just get Puka's hands open. It doesn't have to be the rest of him. Just where his hands are. Where are Puka's hands open? Just get the hands open. The rest of him doesn't have to be open. We're going to do this super precise.
It's all right, Dan. That's a little too much. It's poking Deion Sanders' toes. And if you say they just need Puka's hands open for a fourth time this show, we're stopping you.
Penalty box.
Puka for you and me. Puka Nakua is here for you and me. With that we can all agree. So many receptions mean a count had the perception that he could become the MVP. We should all anticipate this cause he's got precision, greatness echoing throughout eternity. Sanford throws a frozen rope in and if Puka's hands are open, it's a touchdown for you and me. Everybody do the Puka polka. His quarterback is not named Tagovailoa. So come along now, rise and shout to the whole world about Nakua for you and me.
Jason Benetti is wincing, and
yeah, he was bobbing along.
He was dancing.
No, he was dancing.
He loves it.
No,
he loves the Kenosha Kickers.
He felt like it had some promise, and then it didn't. And he is the guest that we have more than any other that I imagine polka is in the bedroom. More than any other guest that we have on the show, I believe him to be a polka lover. Do I have this wrong, Jason Benetti? And thank you for joining us.
So, first of all, how many key changes are in the Polka Nakua? I counted 12.
Take your word for it, pal.
Yeah, you were listening.
It was like living on a prayer, the third halfway there, but it happened like 4 times in a row. It was awesome. When the Pennsylvania polka played in Groundhog Day, little Jason Benetti liked that very much. Yes.
You thought that song had promise at the start. You were smiling, you were joyous, and then it went on about 30 seconds longer than you wanted it to.
I was waiting for the mispronunciations. They should be featured in the actual piece more, I feel like.
I don't understand what's happening right now. This song is excellent. Dan just didn't like it because it sees on echoing throughout eternity Puka's hands being
Puka's
open,
hands
and another shoehorned reference to the Miami Dolphins quarterback for some reason.
I love that.
I mean,
no, that was the best part. The Tagovailoa kind of rhyming. That was like, remember when the kid did the update at Ball State and it went viral and he was like, Reggie Miller looking good because it was the one guy he knew showed up on the screen.
Boom goes the Dynamite.
The boom goes the Dynamite guy. But at one point he finds his footing and he's like, Reggie Miller looking good. And then like Hakeem Warwick shows up and he calls him Hakim Warwick and the wheels fall off again. That's what the Tagovailoa shoehorn felt like. It was great.
It's the second time we've done it, and I just think it's so weak to rhyme it with Tagovailoa by just saying that that's not his quarterback. Like it's just
that's the joke.
It's not the correct way to do that.
Dan, we get it. He's no Gus Polinski. He's trying though.
Jason Benetti is doing all the games. He is doing baseball games. He is doing football games. He's doing college football games. It's Texas Tech this weekend for you? Like you're doing
Texas.
So you're watching the World Series, though, right? You're not like so busy preparing for college football that you segue. You're still interested in everything that's happening with the World Series, right?
Absolutely. I can't say that I made it through 18 innings, but I rewatched the other day. I fell asleep at like midnight. It was not good. It was not good baseball fan behavior, I'll tell you that much. But I think I'm the first person to go from Manhattan, New York to Manhattan, Kansas, back to Manhattan, New York in a week.
Yeah, that's not great. That's not a great situation. These small college towns can't be funny. You can't get in here easily, can you?
I hold in my hand my Jason Benetti baseball card. Revoked.
What?
Revoked. You fell asleep?
Whoa.
You fell asleep? How? Were you not filled with adrenaline and intrigue and mystery on who was going to win this epic baseball game?
What a movie trailer that was. I would say I had enough intrigue and heartrending behavior when the Tigers got knocked out in a 15-inning game that I was watching in Lubbock, Texas. And I was like, you know what? I'll catch up tomorrow. I'm so sorry. Like, really, apologies. But what if the story was somebody drugged me as part of a bank heist that I witnessed, and then they knocked me out, so I couldn't watch the end of the game? Is that better?
Go on.
Yeah, that is slightly better. Even you'd concede that much, wouldn't you?
Yeah, like I could get my baseball card back if I said that, like that I just couldn't stay up for some nefarious reason, right? Maybe I was part of the Louvre heist.
Can we segue here into something that I'm
No.
shocked by? I'm shocked that Chris Cody has never heard "Boom Goes the Dynamite." He doesn't know what it is.
What?
He doesn't know anything about what "Boom Goes the Dynamite" is. He doesn't understand the reference. So we'll get the video here in a second to play it for him. Because if you get secondhand embarrassment for people, you will get some second. Look at Benetti. He is shocked that Chris Cody doesn't know what this is. So we'll play it for Chris Cody in a second. But I want to talk to you for a second about what we witnessed before you fell asleep and after you fell asleep in that 18-inning game. Yesterday we were talking, and I don't think we're prisoner of the moment, to say that we're watching Babe Ruth in real time against 100-mile-an-hour fastballs. We're watching the modern-day Babe Ruth. But where would you go if I said that Shohei Ohtani is the single greatest athlete that we have ever seen? Now, we have not seen LeBron James or Shaq as a tight end, for example. I imagine they would be great tight ends, and I imagine if they played both sports, they would be great at both sports. But Shohei is doing two different things in a sport that only one other guy has done reasonably well. I guess you could say Rick Ankiel, but there aren't many who have done it in a Ruthian fashion. There are only two. So where do you land as an observer of sport on Shohei Ohtani possibly being the best athlete that there's ever been?
Yeah, it's like my mind goes to like Jim Brown, Jim Thorpe. There are a couple others that you could argue did otherworldly things kind of like this. But to watch him, there's a number floating around of his power to the pull side and his power to the opposite field and center field, and they're both in the top 5. Like, not only is he a great pitcher and a great hitter, but he's great at very specific things within those two that people don't do either, right? Like, he's very willing to hit a ball out of the strike zone to create problems for people. There are all these micro reasons that he is one of the greatest ever, if not the greatest ever. But where my mind goes, honestly, Dan, is like, what if in the next 40 years we're at the vanguard? I'm certain we are watching college baseball and how players are trying to do it, right? But what if there are more of these? Like, what if we just have not engineered them well enough? And I sound like an AI inventor type right now, and I don't mean to. But like, what if there are ways to create this and study him and do more of that? Like, what is the end run of all of this? Or is he the only person, because of the way he's built, because of genetics, because of his musculature, like all this stuff? What if he is truly the only one? And my answer to your question, kind of long-winded, but my answer to your question is, I think we'll find out at the end of this trial period, however long it lasts, where people invariably are going to try to recreate it. And if they can't, then I would say definitely, decidedly, he's the best ever.
Okay, so let me ask you this question, because I believe the Dodgers and that roster are uniquely qualified to win at postseason baseball. I believe it's the best roster ever assembled, even though they didn't win more games than everyone during the regular season. And I believe they're built for this time of year. Can I plausibly say that if the Blue Jays beat them, a team that won more games during the regular season than the Dodgers, that it will be one of the biggest upsets in the history of baseball?
Yeah, it's so hard to because of the Blue Jays win total, but I don't know how good the American League was this year, but that's not taking anything away from that. Like, I'm going to answer this question agnostically from the taking away from the Blue Jays. I think so too. I agree with you on the Dodgers roster. And I think it showed specifically in that 18-inning game, the way they construct a bullpen and the arm angles and their ability to get a loaded lineup out, even though there were some pinch hitters that came in and they're missing a couple guys late in that game. Like, I do think it is a really substantial upset. And the Blue Jays, I think, are very, very good. It's a deep lineup. Like, Shane Bieber pitched his tail off yesterday. They made some very savvy moves around the edges of the deadline to make themselves better. But I have thought all year the Dodgers are the best team in baseball, and it's not particularly close in the depth they have.
Am I overreacting when I say, am I being prisoner of the moment when I say, I have never seen, I know it's all Shohei Ohtani all the time, but I have never seen a postseason in which a player consistently hits the ball harder more often than Vladimir Guerrero?
Yeah, man, every time the Tigers play them and every time the White Sox played them when I was there, it was like 115-mile-an-hour scud missile. And then like Alejandro Kirk comes up and he hits a ball that's 2 balls off the plate into right field. He is just a mammoth human being. But I do want to double back because you said prisoner of the moment twice. And I wonder if the moment is the bailiff, or is it a prison of the moment? Is it like a pop-up shop prison? The prison of the moment is a visual to me that I think somebody should explore.
The moment is a sheriff, and he locks me up immediately when I say anything is the best I've ever seen when it happened 6 minutes ago. And that's
so the moment comes over to you and is like, hands up, varmint, right? The moment is doing it. You're not going to a prison of the moment.
No, it is a moment that comes over, handcuffs me, roughs me up, plays by its own rules, and throws me immediately in a prison that is government run.
Frontier moment justice. I love it.
Vlad Guerrero, though, is getting overshadowed because he's hitting the ball hard every time, Jason. Like it is just totally insane. I understand why we're talking about Shohei Ohtani, but Vladimir Guerrero, your Tigers were really good. The Mariners were really good. The pitching is really good, and he's hitting everything hard.
Yeah, the thing about him is, and I've heard people say this about like Yordan Alvarez, and for a while this year, we looked it up when the Blue Jays were in town. Alejandro Kirk was the best bad ball hitter in baseball. This has been a good bad ball hitting lineup. And I say that because Guerrero takes pitches that are off the plate well, but he also is very willing to smartly expand the zone. And so if you're a ball and a half off the plate, he still can hurt you. Now, it's the first connection people make is to his dad, right? Hitting the ball off the ground for a base hit, that iconic picture. But like, part of this is their lineup is geared to that. And they are a very concentrated lineup of hitters who can do damage on baseballs off the plate. And I think that's part of where this comes about is we hear like John Schneider gets asked the questions about Ohtani, right? Are you going to walk Ohtani? They walk him a bunch of times, whatever. If you unintentionally try to intentionally walk Vlad Guerrero Jr., he can beat you on your misses. And I think that's the real problem. And then pitchers feel that tension. And then those middle pitches, he rarely, if ever, misses.
It is crazy. He's one of the best play-by-play announcers anywhere in sports. He's the television voice of the Detroit Tigers, and you can hear him on Fox calling college football, basketball, and NFL games. I want to play the game with you that we did last time where I just throw out a handful of things and you give me your first thought, okay? You do this on your social media. You post a picture of a ballpark or stadium on socials, and you ask first person that you think of. So, Blue Jays, first person that you think of.
Joe Carter.
Dallas Cowboys, first person that you think of.
Emmitt Smith.
Fighting Irish, first person that you think of.
Tony Roberts, their longtime play-by-play announcer who I listened to as a kid.
Dodger Stadium.
Can it be Dodger Dogs? Vin Scully.
Whoa, that was offensive as a broadcaster that you went Dodger Dogs first before Vin Scully, the greatest to ever do what you do.
But that's the fun part of first person you think of. It could have been it could have been Raul Ibanez. Like I don't know. It's just whatever pops into my tortured mind.
Yeah, the funny thing is when you eat Dodger Dogs, you get hot foul.
Benetti, true or false? I'm not saying that there are dozens of players that can do what Shohei's doing. I'm saying, are there dozens of players around the league who are reaching out to their agents saying, hey, I'm a good pitcher, I can hit too? Like, do you think he's inspiring other players that think they can do what he's doing?
I think at this moment in time, every pitcher thinks they can hit. And I think some hitters think they can pitch. But, like, when you get into the 13th inning in a regular season game, we should always cut to the dugout because there's a line of pitchers saying, I'm good, I got this. Like, put me in, I'll double to left field. Like, every pitcher thinks they can hit. What is going on in the background? There's like a lot of shenanigans.
We had a rule
happening.
play down at first base. We had to check with the umpire.
Zaslow, what do you have for Benetti? Quit distracting Benetti. I'm trying to do a show here.
I asked Boog Shambi last year, why can't more players do what Ohtani's doing? And, meaning like hit and throw.
Up off the ground, pal.
And Boog got mad at me.
What did Boog say? He's like, you don't watch baseball, do you?
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a good Boog he does. We haven't done the impersonations with Benetti in a while. Can we talk to Boog about his Cubs? I'd like to talk to Boog about his.
I got Dan Bingo.
Yeah, it was Counts and I were talking, and they just got to do better. They just got to do better.
When we mentioned Dodger Stadium, I thought of this the other day. Usually, I have heard some people hit a ball, a home run out of a ballpark. Shohei Ohtani hit a ball out of the stadium. It's not something I'd seen before at Dodger Stadium. I can get my head around hitting a ball out of a ballpark, but that's not a ballpark. That is a stadium. Have you seen a ball hit out of Dodger Stadium before?
Never. No. Watching that baseball, these stadiums give you so much frame of reference because we watch and we see so many things happen inside of them. So immediately you go like, nope, never in a million years. I mean, I did the home run derby at Dodger Stadium a couple years ago and don't remember a ball leaving the ballpark. So yeah, no.
That's insane.
Well, but I've just
the home run derby.
But I've never seen it. The Dodger Stadium. I don't think do people understand how cavernous that is? Like, you don't hit a baseball out of Dodger Stadium.
He did that, and it might not have even been in the best game that he played during this postseason. And we're asking whether or not there's other guys that could do it.
Yeah, why not?
It's like hitting a ball to a different neighborhood. It's like it's like a different point on the map is what that is.
Who have you talked to that can put context on what it is that we say beyond unbelievable or amazing or Ruthian or anything else? Like when you talk to somebody, Jason, and they explain to you the mystical magic of what it is that you're presently watching, this giant from another land doing things that have never been done in this sport before, what is the context where you're like, that person, they gave me some insight here that illuminated this for me? Because baseball people are confused by this, as confused by this as we are, right?
Yeah, I don't know that anything involving context does anything other than make him more of a unicorn, I guess. I mean, the one where my mind goes when you say that, because I can't remember like a conversation that crystallized it, but like, you remember a couple years ago, the Angels opened against the White Sox on Sunday Night Baseball, and Ohtani hit a home run off of Dylan Cease, I want to say. And this is the thing that sticks out most to me. Ohtani hit a home run off of Dylan Cease, and there was a news item the next couple days. ESPN had to come back and refute a report that they jacked up the microphones in order to make Ohtani's homer louder. The ball is such cannon fire off of his bat that networks are being asked if they juiced the microphone. And that is one of those things that has stuck with me and is etched into my mind because it sounded like a Revolutionary War reenactment when he hit the home run. And people were like, did you mess with this? Like, was that artificial? And they're like, what are you talking about?
When it comes to Ohtani and you hear things like that, you realize the freakishness of who this athlete is. But Jason, like, there's been so many other random things about this World Series that have been so fun, whether it's a guy like Will Klein throwing 4 innings in extra innings, or Bo Bichette coming back and being able to hit, for 400 average in his first 3 games after not playing for a month. What's kind of one of the random things that you look at that's like niche baseball within this series that has stood out to you that you've enjoyed outside of the obvious in Ohtani and Guerrero?
When you're awake, when you're not sleeping.
Yeah, that's
during
true.
It.
Yeah, no. That's a really good point. The Will Klein stuff is fascinating to me because I just love that he has enough of a sense of humor to say in his press conference, because he's like the anointed hero now. Like, yeah, that's the opposite of how they felt about me before. Like, I appreciate somebody that gets that. I think that's the fun part of World Series is that baseball moments in the regular season just kind of fizzle over time. Like, if I asked you all, like, what happened, if I asked you, like, what happened in the Marlins in this game in June, like, you'd be like, I don't know. But like, Will Klein's going to eat for free at some high-end restaurants for a long time. And that's the fun part of the randomness, is that baseball is so unrandom in the regular season that now it just gets exacerbated in the postseason.
I don't know about this. Will
eat
Klein?
for free forever.
He didn't say forever.
He's gonna have to walk in and say,
while.
"Okay, here's
For
the
a while.
context. I'm Klein. I did this."
No, Chris, he's going to have to come in uniform with a baseball, throwing it, and on his phone replaying the highlights.
Wearing his jersey?
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to have to call. He's going to have somebody call for him and say, Will Klein would like to come to your restaurant.
I'm sorry,
he
who?
threw 4 innings. Don't worry. Well, you run a restaurant? Is there a Dan Le Batard Show restaurant?
He runs
What
a
would be on the
restaurant, and
menu?
all they do is interrupt the customers. That's all they
Yeah,
do.
sorry, we're closed for a private event.
Sorry, I decline.
Oh, wow. It's the end of the world as we know.
Miguel Rojas was very close to pitching in that 18-inning game.
Oh, God, it would have been so awesome. They warmed up Yamamoto, but they could have gone to Rojas.
There should be a nuclear treaty. Like when the headset doesn't work for one coach in football, they turn off the other headset. If one team runs out of pitchers, like, you should have 1 inning where you can use a regular pitcher, but if you don't score in the inning against the actual non-pitcher, then your team should have to use a non-pitcher too, for the ignominy of not getting a run against that guy.
Jason, what do you make that people are complaining after last night that baseball should do away with the intentional walk?
People need to get a hobby. Just get a hobby instead of complaining about stuff that actually works fine. Like let him walk him to first. Do you know what it does to the ability to score runs when there's a base runner on first, especially as the leadoff man? Like, you probably should get runs because of it. You're probably going to score. So it's a tactical piece of baseball. And like, think of how many times we talk about Barry Bonds getting intentionally walked with the bases loaded. Like, it's a piece of strategy. I got no problem with it. That's like saying, like, why do those bishops only move diagonally? I hate that. Let them move in an L shape like the Knights. Like, come on, man. If you want to go play checkers, then go play checkers.
Yes. That is as indignant as this decent, kind man gets when he just tells you to go play. That is his. You bleep off. That's how he does it.
Go play Shoots and Ladders. If you want a basic game, go play Shoots and Ladders. It's fine. Or get a little mallet and play Don't Break the Ice. Like, whatever you want to do, just don't play baseball then.
Where is this Scooble trade talk coming from?
Everywhere, it feels like. I mean, it's all the contract situation, right? Like, and his agent and all of these things. And I have no idea. And I don't even know that the Tigers know what they're going to do staunchly of what Scooble is going to be in a year. All I know is, like, that guy is a top 5 player I've covered to watch emotionally and just theater wise. And it would be really hard to see him in another uniform.
He better not be a Dodger. I'm threatening you.
Because the Dodger dogs are Vin Scully.
I am threatening you personally. If Scooble becomes a Dodger, I'm
if you let that happen, Benetti.
I'm going to have to harm you. I'm going to have to chop off one of your arms and beat you with it. Okay?
It's time for a restraining order from Dan Le Batard.
We have some Boom Goes the Dynamite video to introduce to Chris Cody. I'm told the video is not great, and we had to shorten it here. So this, Chris, I'm telling you that this is a college broadcast that probably lasted 8 or 9 minutes. We are not playing all of it for you because the video is bad. I mean, what do you have here for us?
So the actual clip is 4 minutes long. It's a lot of stumbling. It's hilarious, but obviously we can't play a 4-minute clip, so I decided to zero in on just the part that Jason mentioned earlier.
It's his first time ever doing a sports he was like a last-minute fill-in.
It's a college broadcast. He's doing a highlight package.
I believe it's a college broadcaster doing a legitimate newscast.
Like a local newscast?
Yeah.
You think this is a local newscast? I thought this was...
No, it's at Ball State.
I think it's a college thing.
Yeah, I thought it was a college broadcast, and you will hear his nerves. Let's go ahead and play this.
Missing his 13th consecutive game. Tough shot by Miller. Out of bounds.
Reggie Miller's looking good. He shoots a 3, and it's good. Later, he gets the rebound, passes it to the man, shoots it, and boom goes the Dynamite. The final scores ended up with the Pacers 63 to the Nets 61.
Passes to the man.
Now, I love that the video starts with the ambient sound of the highlights in the background, and I know everyone's going to leave like, did we get the wrong video? No, that's him nervously breathing because he doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and then he finally sees it's Reggie Miller and says, ooh, looking good.
That is the best. That is the sneaky best part of the video because he literally has no idea what to say. He's shuffling his papers in his full, absolute 5-alarm panic. And he's like, oh, God, I've finally seen somebody that I know. And like, it's Reggie Miller. And then he's looking good. And this dude feels great about it. And then there's sadly another highlight. So he says he passes to the man.
And boom goes the Dynamite.
Let's play it again because he had boom goes the Dynamite. He had that loaded up to make sure that he was going to nail it on the broadcast. But the entire thing is 4 minutes that is absolutely worth your time. It's the sound of a broadcaster drowning.
Reggie Miller's looking good. He shoots a 3, and it's good. Later, he gets the rebound, passes it to the man, shoots it, and boom goes the Dynamite. The final scores ended up with the Pacers 63 to the Nets 61.
Can we acknowledge the final score was 63-61?
Oh, 2000s basketball is so much better. I don't know what these guys don't defend anymore. That was a real score.
That was the real score? The Miami Heat had 74 points at the half yesterday.
And boom goes the Dynamite.
And they're the Heat.
Chris, you got to go back and watch the whole thing. Like it's the original viral video before things were viral.
You were saying, Benetti?
Can we talk about the sigh? When's the last time you sighed in the middle of a live broadcast?
It's because he knew he was drowning. Let's one more time just play it so you can hear the shuffling of papers, the general panic, and because if you're in the audio audience, you can't see the video. He's trailing the highlights by about 7 seconds.
Reggie Miller's looking good. He shoots a 3, and it's good.
Feet clearly inside the arc.
Later, he gets the rebound, passes it to the man, shoots it, and boom goes the Dynamite. The final scores ended up with the Pacers 63 to the Nets 61.
That can't be right. That's not the final score. There's no way he got the final score wrong. Look, man, they didn't play games in the 50s that were 63-61. That is simply inaccurate.
Why would you think he got something wrong?
There's no There's just no way that was the final score of that game. Benetti, always good talking to you. Thank you for making the time, as you always do, sir.
Thanks, guys.
Final score was 98-91, New Jersey Nets.
It for some reason, we believed that a game in the 90s would have finished 63-61. And I believe there were some Heat-Knicks playoffs games that were pretty close to ending in the 70s.
Those are the days.
There was a finals game, Jazz Bulls, that was like 61-57.
No, I think the Jazz were in the 50s that game.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bulls won by like 40.
Yeah, but it wasn't both teams having. It wasn't both. Okay. It is fairly absurd that all of us in here would think that the Pacers and then the New Jersey Nets would have played a 63-61 game in our lifetime.
I'm giving the broadcaster credit. Why would he have gotten it wrong?
See if you guys can find for me and whether or not it would be worth to play any more of the Boom Goes the Dynamite.
Yes.
Because, Chris, it was delightful to be able to share that with you. I was indeed surprised that is not something that you had any reference point for because so you'd never heard the expression Boom Goes the Dynamite before.
I had heard it, but I thought it was like more of like a professional, boom goes the dynamite. Like
I'm so excited that you get to experience
great.
this clip now for the first time. The kid ended up going on Letterman. Now, granted, Letterman's a Ball State grad as well, so there was a connection, but it was,
That's
like I
awesome.
said, it was viral before things were viral.
Zaz, correct me if I'm wrong. He says "Boom Goes the Dynamite" several times, right?
He might.
He goes back to it as a crush almost.
because it was really working.
And it became a thing, like Kevin Calabro, the all-time great Seattle Supersonics broadcaster, he then began using it in his broadcast as an ode to the kid.
Also, the Cleveland show and Family Guy, Cleveland Brown, when he has sex, he goes, and boom goes the dynamite.
I read something really funny during that Benetti interview that I think I'm going to surprise all of you with. I read a detail. It was an article about Brian Kelly, and there was a detail that emerged from that. Brian Kelly, this offseason, entering this season, worked with an image consultant.
No. I was confused by a couple of the different details on that. Did you understand, Mike, in some of the reporting where he was told to fire his offensive coordinator, and then, according to the reporting, he said, and I also want to fire my offensive line coach. He was not allowed to fire his offensive line coach, and then the athletic director stormed out of the building, and the reporting is that Kelly was using the leverage of his buyout, or trying to use the leverage of his buyout. Why wouldn't Brian Kelly just also, why would he want to fire someone else and that be the sticking point on whether he keeps his job or not? Usually you get to make the threat of, no, I'm going to protect my guy. You can't fire this guy, but this was the opposite of that. This was Brian Kelly saying, no, I'll fire somebody else. I was confused by that detail.
I think the answer is because he's an asshole.
Well,
Judges, Roy?
Exhibited the behavior of an asshole. What is that?
No. He went on asshole, Roy. No,
Roy,
the bit.
You're
Roy
arguing
along.
with the umpire.
You know what? You're out.
Roy, you know what, Roy?
What are we doing?
Roy, you're
Angel, what's his name over here?
Roy is incorrect.
Angel Hernandez didn't see the asshole strike zone.
No, Roy, let's see. We've got to get Roy out of
Wide
here.
strike zone.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes. Sport came out of your mouth.
Wow.
It still came out of your mouth. I can smell it from here.
If we're going to appeal, we got to go with what he says. Like, what are we doing?
We challenged. I do find it funny. It does seem like the ultimate Brian Kelly move to leverage his own buyout.
Is the report true? I saw a report that when he showed up to the facility in the morning, his thumbprint didn't work anymore on the door. Could that be true? Could that be true?
Sometimes those things just don't work, right? It's like, I can't get it.
I saw like a photo that made me happy. It would make you sad otherwise, but it was him eating alone in a booth at a restaurant in Baton Rouge, and I was like, yeah, that makes me happy. His misery.
Let's punctuate this hour by getting Amin's top 5 Week 1 NBA observations. This has got to be good here. Let's see what we've got here. Do we have any OLI, or are we just going to start with number 5?
Yes, we got one OLI, which is that Steph Curry is old and he should retire and he's awful and the Warriors in trouble. Oh, wait! No, they're awesome and he's awesome.
Jimmy Butler's shooting 57% from 3, and he's got a game with 14 of those attempts and 16 of those attempts. So that's how his game is going to age. They're going to let him shoot threes over there like he's Klay Thompson.
Pelle Larson had 17 points last night.
Number 5, Victor Wembanyama is a lot better than we thought he was going to be, even though we thought he was going to be awesome.
They're 4-0 here. The Spurs, how good are they going to be? Are the Spurs going to be top of the conference good?
Not top of the conference good. Not top of the conference good, but I thought they were going to be fighting for a play-in spot, and they were going to get it, and I'm like, I think they're going to be clearly above the 6th seed line.
Heat about to tag them with that first loss tomorrow, and I tell you what.
You know the Spurs have never started 5-0, ever?
Not going to this year either.
Isn't that weird?
Number 4. Zion is still hurt. Number 3. Amazon and NBC have come to save basketball.
We undercut that one for you by talking about it for an hour in the second hour of the show, right?
It's all good. Number 2. And this one's a big one, Dan. The Rockets. Maybe we bought a little too early on them. And the number 1 observation, Dan, from the first week of basketball. The Sixers might be better without Joel Embiid and Paul George.
That's crazy.
Not might.
That's crazy. Not might?
Not might. No. Not
Dude,
might.
For the first time in about 6-7 years, you can watch a Sixer game that doesn't have Joel Embiid in it and be like, I kind of like what I see.
Let's do a brand new segment, Zaslow's Daily MVP nominee.
MVP of the day.
If we're talking MVP, Tyrese Maxey needs to be in the conversation. 39 points and 10 assists last night. The Sixers come from behind once Joel Embiid went to the bench. Sixers come from behind, win in overtime. Undefeated Maxey. He needs to be in the conversation.
Back-to-back days.
Back-to-back days for him. That's huge.
Reigning King of the Mountain MVP.
That is super strange.
That's the longest streak so far, Dan.
Greg Cody said yesterday that Philadelphia should change the name of its arena to the Maxi Pad, and that he will deny having said it, and that he will make sure that no one knows that that's something that he ever thought.
MVP of the day.
We will get back to our regularly scheduled hijinks and lighter fare here in a moment, involving Miami Dolphins owner Stephen Ross, Mark Schlereth being dirty, and George Clooney talking about the heist. But before we go any further, I did want to stop for a moment. Our audience is usually very helpful in times of crisis. And if you haven't been watching what is approaching and in Jamaica over the last couple of days, a storm unlike any other, as poor people are disproportionately affected by climate change. There are streets in Haiti and the Dominican that warned of this because they've become rivers. And the storm that has presently hit Jamaica has no precedent in Jamaica and has very little precedent in the history of storms. You're talking about, in Hurricane Melissa, a storm so strong that the hurricane tracking plane couldn't even go into it to measure the strength of it. So when they say 175 and 185 miles per hour, those are guesses, and it's probably a lot worse than that because the water around there is so hot and so deep that it's an endless fuel. So what you have presently happening in Jamaica is a real horror, and about to get worse because the flooding afterward is something that is killing more people when these kinds of storms happen than even the wind itself. So we will put up on the screen here some ways that you can help. Non-perishable foods are needed: hygiene kits, generators, tarps, clothes, baby clothes, diapers, non-perishable baby food. You could go to American Friends of Jamaica, the AFJ.org, or you can go to globalempowermentmission.org /mission/Hurricane Melissa, because we're just beginning to see the catastrophic horrors of this. This island is not equipped for this. Most places in the world are not equipped for this, but Jamaica specifically is not equipped for the endless fuel in the warm water around its island. I want to say something that's not helpless and hopeless. Thoughts and prayers seems really insufficient, but if it's in your heart to help, there are going to be people here over the next coming days, months, and years that are going to have a great deal of recovery problems from this because this storm is too strong. It's a ridiculous number. When Hurricane Andrew was 150 miles an hour, and people in Kendall from 30 years ago still talk about how it destroyed that community. And again, the plane couldn't even. There's not a precedent for a plane not. These planes are built to be able to go in and track how strong these storms are. So what's being reported is not even going to be accurate in terms of the strength of this storm because of how hot the water is around Jamaica. So just really think about these people, and if you have it in your heart to help, this is a good cause to help, as people obviously need help. Now, I don't have a proper segue to go after that particular footage where you just see everything blowing apart, but we will continue to try to do some of the silliness that we do around here every day the way that we do it. So I know that Zaslow came in today, and Mark Schlereth is endlessly good content because we've been making fun of him for about 10 years around here because he is simply stronger and tougher than the rest of us are, and a little bit dirtier as well. He is somebody, and I was just reminded of this. I saw that the DraftKings people are here. Our great partners will be with us tomorrow night at the Miller Lite Watch Party in Kendall, and I noticed that we greeted them with a whole bunch of people who don't know how to use the toilets in here by just urinating on the floor in there because there is just droplets of urine in there because people don't know how to use the bathroom around here. Well, yeah, we've got a bunch of untrained Wolverines who live here. You've seen this, right? Surely you guys have seen this. I've done it a number of times where I'm throwing napkins on the floor and cleaning it up with my feet because people around here don't know how to use the bathroom. But Mark Schlereth says he does this on purpose. Can you give us some context, Zaslow, from the sound that we're about to hear here? Because it delights you that Mark Schlereth is dirty on purpose.
Well, it delights me because I like Schlereth, and he's always been good to me. He comes on my podcast often enough. I like Mark.
What podcast is that?
Zaslow Show 2.0. Please subscribe, do all that good stuff. I love you a long time. So I like Stink, all right? And he was on my pal Nick Costos' show yesterday, and Nick asked him, what is something that bothers you when it comes to travel? Because, look, I travel every weekend. And there are people who are disgusting with travel. Like I try and be really courteous when I travel, I wear pants, I wear sneakers. I don't bring smelly food. I try to be really courteous to other people on the plane. And here's Mark Schlereth talking about what really bothers him about dirty people on airplanes.
I will say one thing that irritates me. Now I'm telling on myself. People that don't know how to travel. Like, nobody wants to see your feet in flip-flops on a plane. Not one person. Nobody wants to see you in a tank top with your armpits hanging out. That drives me insane. Have some couth about you.
Should the people in flip-flops on airplanes, should they be executed?
Well, I don't know about that, but I always pee on the floor to make sure. I've seen people walk in in socks in the bathroom. I always pee on the floor to make sure if you walk in socks, you're getting urine on your feet.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I think he's on point.
Absolutely.
How else they going to learn?
100%. There's no other way to teach them this
Walking
lesson.
around in socks?
Yeah, I mean, I know he's speaking for a lot of us.
Yeah, that'll
some
stop
couth.
you. Yep.
I think it's also exfoliating.
Who's walking into a bathroom with socks?
Well,
is that a thing?
We try to make sure they don't.
The uncouth.
Yeah, by pissing on that floor. That's what we
Yep.
do.
Dan, have you never done that?
I don't take my shoes off on an airplane, and I don't.
No, if you ever piss on the floor.
purposely.
Yeah, no, the peeing
I
on the
don't
floor.
purposely pee on the floor.
How the hell else are they gonna walk into the bathroom with their socks on?
Gotta get them to stop.
What else are you supposed to do?
Yeah, you have to pee on that floor.
Even when I have shoes on, I want to feel like ice capades, like whoop, like I'm just gonna slip like a 1920s vaudeville
It's a good
show.
core workout, actually.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Worst airplane crime, taking your shoes off or eating fish on an airplane? Which is the worst airplane crime? If you guys could only choose one. Because I got stuck on a flight from China. That's a long flight. Next to somebody who kept bringing out some fried fish product. And this was in a crowded, cramped coach class flight. I was in the middle, and there was just fried fish being eaten next to me the entire flight. It is the worst of the airplane crimes that I have been a victim of.
Why were you in the middle?
It's just that's the flight that I got.
Now, were you in the absolute worst seat, which is the middle seat of the middle seats?
It was, yes. It was the middle seat, and it was like a big plane, so it was like 7 or 8 seats. You know, it was a lot of seats.
Two
across.
aisles, right?
Yeah,
Two
yeah.
aisles, and you were in the middle seat?
Yeah. And
Oh.
That's a long flight.
You gotta get off
next
that plane.
to somebody who just keeps reaching into a bag and grabbing something. It wasn't even normal fish. It was like an exotic fish that smelled really bad.
Was it like the Golden Child where they offered you some in some other language, and you just kind of like had to put on your earphones and
It was the worst victim airplane situation that I have had. Like, you guys complain sometimes about somebody putting a seat back or some of the other airplane.
That doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother you? It bothers a lot of people, especially in a tight space. But the taking of the shoes off is a complaint I hear a lot. But to me, having experienced it, the worst one is somebody with stinky food. Like, you just can't do that on an airplane in a flying tube that traps both air and smell. But speaking of airplanes, Stephen Ross, the owner of the Dolphins, we have some footage here of Stephen Ross. I have not seen this. Can you tell me, Zaslow, where is this coming from that Stephen Ross is getting off his airplane and he is mad that his car is, now this is an 80-plus-year-old billionaire, he's mad that he's got to walk how much further to his car
Just wait, you'll see.
than he would like to, because does he want the car to be right near the wheels, the way that Boog Shambi flies, where he's got so many miles, almost as many as Amin, where a Porsche just picks up Boog Shambi near the wheels of the airplane. Oh, wow, this was 20 extra yards that he did not want to walk.
I think it was less than that.
It seemed like the car was total from the plane, 30 yards. He got about 15 yards and was like, what the hell are we doing here? You can see his arms waving like, what is this?
you guys sound like a bunch of pores. That's how the ultra elite and wealthy do, man.
Look
That's
at
how
him,
we do.
just
What
walking down, he's like, what is this?
What is this?
It should be right here.
Right here. Why are we parked all the way over there? What? This is like Zaz taking his American Airlines bus.
Acting like it's blocks away he has to walk.
You guys sound like people who sit in the middle of middle seats.
Oh my God. Getting offered fried fish, exotic fried fish.
I love that there is no audio on this. He could not be complaining about anything we're saying.
No, it seems pretty obvious, though. No, we could have this wrong.
He could just be like, I'm mad. I got to go to this meeting right now. He could be complaining about anything.
Guys,
if you want to be fair to him.
If we run it back, I think I know what he's complaining about. Apparently someone was walking around with socks because Mark Cleareth peed everywhere. Like, what is this? What is all this pee here?
Wet socks now.
Everyone does this. It's not. I'm sad that Mark gave that away.
Now, does this make Stephen Ross a good NFL owner or a bad NFL owner?
It's a huge puddle of pee right there in the middle of the tarmac.
There's nothing else he could possibly be motioning about other than the car, right?
Or pee.
Do you think that one guy that just handed him his jacket is just his jacket holder? Like, that's just what he does.
You say his whole job is to jacket? Hand him the jacket, sorry.
George Clooney has chimed in on this heist that we've been talking about because there is no greater connection point other than 90s baseball than the people around here at Meadowlark Media have when it comes to engaging in community conversation than just interest in a heist or a heist movie. George Clooney has weighed in on the heist at the Louvre that ended up with people taking crown jewels that have not yet been recovered, right? Nobody has found who's trying to sell these, where they're being sold. I do not think that there is a black market that would make it an ability that anyone would have to be able to actually sell this. You steal it, you're going to have to hold on to it for a while. And when you do try to sell it, I believe you're going to get caught trying to sell it.
Dan, when you do a heist, you don't just do it blind. You already have the fence lined up. That's the way you do it. It's the planning. It's part of the planning. I'm the guy, the stick-up guy. He's the guy who's going to case the joint. These are the guys who are actually going to go. One is a demolitions expert. The other one knows how to pick locks. And then what we're going to do is we take it to our fence contact, who usually is in Vienna or Zurich, one of those cities. It's never like in the city you're in. And he's already given you a price. But what ends up happening is he double-crosses you. Oh, no. Yeah. And I think that's what happened because, they got caught, right?
I did not know that. I did not know that.
Spoiler alert.
Well,
couple of them.
Okay. I was not aware of that. Let's hear what Clooney had to say on the subject.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty funny because it really was like in the middle of broad daylight. Crazy. Yeah. All the two. I wonder if they're going to catch these guys. I mean, they seem to have done a pretty good job of getting away with it.
7 minutes.
I know. I watched the film of them coming down the.
And you said you should be in the bed. You should be in
the bucket. Yeah, it was cool though. I mean, yeah, cool. I mean, it's terrible, but
I mean,
if you're a professional thief like I am,
right?
I was very proud of those guys.
He's kind of got the reaction all of us have. Yeah, terrible to steal, but also pretty cool to be around a heist and to hear about a modern-day heist.
He's like a little too proud, right? Like to where it makes you a little bit suspicious that he's a part of it. Like it would be the perfect crime. George Clooney, part of all the Ocean's movies. Oh, yeah, I mean, pretty cool, right? Like it's amazing that those guys got it in broad daylight. I wonder how they did it. It's pretty cool. I mean, terrible, but,
Jeremy, this is how it goes. He does a media tour because he becomes the expert. Kind of people like go to him, ask questions about oh no, it's really da-da-da. And then he kind of laughs like, back in my day. And then he gets in the limo and the camera pans over to the other side of the limo and it's the thieves. Yeah. The heisters are right there. And say, "You done getting your publicity?" He's like, "Settle down." He's the fence. That's who it is. George Clooney is now escalated. He was a heist guy. Now he's the fence. He's the guy who comes, and that's why he double crosses him because, once a thief, always a thief.
Well, and that's why there's still one person on the loose. Like they have, caught a couple of people, but reportedly there are still people who are out there who were involved in it, and you wonder, could that be Clooney? Could there be another masked vigilante who's a part of this? I really have no idea.
The guy on the loose, this is what happened. They all left. They scattered, and then they had the rendezvous point. And they're like, okay, let's go to Clooney now. And the guy on the list said, no, I don't trust that MFer, man. I don't trust him. He's going to sell us out. I'm not going down with you guys. Like, come on, man. The money's there. Let's just get out of here and go to Mexico. Like, no, man. You guys are on your own. And then he takes his share of the jewels and he books it. And then he's watching the news. And he's like, son of a bitch, I knew it.
And I really thought Clooney was like a great actor, right? But if he's involved in this, I mean, the amount of pride that's in his voice and when he goes, it's terrible. Makes a face like, we all know it's not terrible. I don't think it's terrible for real, but I know I have to say it's terrible. He doesn't believe that at all, Dan.
Is it terrible? Look, they're in a world full of crimes against humanity.
It's illegal.
That's my gimmick.
It's illegal. Is it terrible? Oh, the crown jewels. Who cares? This does not impact anybody's life.
Look at that face. That is not the face of someone who actually believes something is terrible.
Hey,
he's proud.
Why do we put Stugotz up there?
We're going to play another rousing rendition of Real or Fake podcast. But before we do that, I just, because Inter Miami is up 1-0 in their playoff series after being extinguished.
They ever going to finish that series?
In the first round. There's a week between game one and game two.
That's the MLS. Well, welcome, everybody. Yes, there's a week between league games. That's how they do it in soccer.
And because we had Andres Cantor on South Beach Sessions, and we're hoping to make him a part of our build-up to World Cup coverage because we want to cover the World Cup well. I have seen recently here that Trump is now threatening World Cup host cities and is making cities that are not as dangerous as he says they are. He continues to make liberal cities more dangerous than they actually are. What do you make of him now
Donald
threatening?
Trump? Donald Trump would do that?
Him?
The reality show host?
Now
sure?
He is threatening World Cup cities with taking away their games, and if he can do this, all of a sudden Miami's going to have a lot more games than Miami was going to have before. I'm not sure that's great for Miami. It's great, and the ideal is great for Miami. But the last time we hosted one of these games, we didn't quite have the not one of these games, but a game like it. We didn't quite have the security for it, and what ended up happening is you just had a bunch of brown people climbing through air conditioning ducts at Hard Rock Stadium.
Yeah, Chris Cody's ticket never got scanned.
I just walked in. I had a ticket, and I was like, anyone?
But that was CONMEBOL, and since then, FIFA did organize some games over the summer with the Club World Cup, and those went without incident, and Trump has decided that Miami is not one of these democratically led cities that bother him. So perhaps Miami stands to gain from what was a threat that felt empty a couple of months ago when he threatened to take World Cup games away from Chicago, which if you ran a Google, you'd know Chicago doesn't have any. But he threatened to take World Cup games away from a city that didn't have it, and now his latest threat.
As he should.
And FIFA kind of just stayed quiet on that front. I guess this is the latest thing that he's obsessed with, and we'll just move on. But he brought it back when he was asked about the mayoral election happening in New York, and the final is going to be at MetLife Stadium, and he threatened to perhaps move the final away from New York if he felt like these cities were a little too dangerous. Again, MetLife Stadium, not in New York. It's actually in New Jersey. But I do think the notable thing here is Johnny Infantino, or Johnny Soccer, as Donald Trump has called him before. He has actually said, no, this is something that can happen. Now, you'd imagine this would be a logistical nightmare, as people have already been planning their trips over to the United States for the World Cup. You don't really see venue changes on such short notice. And yes, a year out for something like the World Cup final is short notice. Could be an empty threat. Could be something legitimate, though, because the head of FIFA just said, no, it's something that we can do. So we will wait to see if he actually threatens to take games away from cities that actually are hosting FIFA World Cup events.
Johnny Infantino is a great name for somebody who's doing criminal or immoral things.
For sure.
Just really solid as a name. I would convict Johnny Infantino of just about anything that you were accusing him of, just based on having the name Johnny Infantino.
By the way, shout out to FIFA because he succeeded Sepp Blatter, which is also a name that sounds like I'm into all types of criminal activity.
Yeah, look, it's really unfair to levy that kind of stereotype against the head of FIFA.
Dog, do you understand what kind of rigmarole you got to do for your name to be Joseph and you say my nickname isn't Joe or Joey, it's Sepp? Yeah. That's gangster.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Name that you're more likely to associate with criminal activity, Sepp Blatter or Johnny Infantino, just as a name. Go ahead and play the Sepp Blatter sound of him celebrating the fact that Sepp Blatter gets to be once and for all, forevermore, the president of everything.
So I'm the president of everybody. There is no reticence. That's just president of the whole FIFA. Voila.
Voila.
Let's play a rousing rendition here of Real or Fake Podcast to conclude
Listen
hour
up.
2 here.
Time to think fast. Is this a real or fake podcast?
It's been a while since we've done this, so I've been in the lab. I'm trying to trick you guys. That's what I try to do with this. The game is simple. You guys make guesses on a podcast that I say out loud, and you try to guess whether or not it is real or fake. First one up. Closed on Sunday with Patrick Surtain.
I'm going fake.
If it was with both Surtains, I'd believe you.
I wish it was real. That's an awesome name for a podcast
so good.
with Patrick Surtain specifically, but I'm going to say fake.
We all think it's fake.
I'll say real.
That is a real podcast.
What?
Oh, it snuck in there.
We owe apologies.
Next up, Serving It Up with Lance Lynn.
Who would listen to that?
That's such a good pull
That's
of a
real.
name.
Would Cardinals fans even listen to that?
Fake.
I mean, serving it up means he's allowing home runs.
Right.
Right. Why? No, that can't be right.
Oh, he plays for those Cardinals.
That is a real podcast for the
What?
outspoken Lance Lynn.
Co-host Nate McLeod.
Holiday with Michael Holly.
No way. No.
That's real.
My man Michael Holly's not a hack, man.
It's real. I don't know. I like that name.
I'm going to say that's not, that's hosted by Matt Holliday.
Holiday, hosted by Michael Holly, is fake.
I told you. Michael Holly is a journalist, man.
Next one. Flutie Flakecast with Doug Flutie.
No way. Wait, do they still make Flutie Flakes? If they do, then yes, it's real. If they don't, then no.
Flutie Flakes Cast. I forgot it as Flutie Flakes Cast.
No, it's all fake. Everything is fake.
Yes makes me a little more convinced.
If it was Flutie Nugenics Cast, would you believe it?
Flutie Flakes Cast is a real podcast.
What?
Hosted by Doug Flutie.
No.
Lastly, Trade and Paint with Bobby Allison.
That's real.
That's real.
That's on SiriusXM NASCAR radio.
Hey, real.
Bobby Allison died in 2024.
But he had a podcast.
So real or fake?
No, he was in his 80s. It's a fake podcast.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Thankful when Mark Kelly makes time for our program. He's a former U.S. Navy combat pilot, an astronaut. He's the senator from Arizona, and we are in the center of, I'm going to call it government crisis shutdown, but we'll see what he calls it. Thank you again for making the time for us, Senator. Last time you came on with us, you believed in the Arizona Cardinals and Kyler Murray. You should not. Has your faith been shaken since you were on with us? They're now 2-5.
The 2-5 and lost to the Tennessee Titans, I think, right? A week or two ago.
An impossible loss, and a truly impossible loss. Even in your history in Arizona sports, there's never been a loss like that one.
Yeah, I mean, of course you're going to win some, you're going to lose some, but you shouldn't lose to the Titans, especially this season. So I am concerned. I'm hopeful about Kyler Murray coming back. And we'll get back on track here. We got a lot of season left in front of us.
You shouldn't be hopeful.
You should not be hopeful. You will not get back on track. It's okay. I don't want to argue with you right now. There are enough problems in the country, and it's not the reason that we had you on. So as it relates to the government shutdown, what concerns you most here?
Well, it's all the folks out there that's healthcare is going to, rise rapidly for them to pay for health insurance. It's live right now on healthcare.gov. People are logging on. They're going to see what their premiums are going to look like. And the folks that I speak to in Arizona, it's unaffordable for so many people. And that means millions of people across the country are not going to be able to afford their health insurance. So they're often going to drop it. And then they're going to be one accident or illness away from a bankruptcy. This is not good.
Also not good is that thousands of federal employees and members of the military, I think this Friday, right, is when missed paychecks start?
Well, for members of the military, it's going to be up to what Donald Trump does next. We're looking at ways to make sure people get paid. Members of the military should not miss paychecks. I spent 25 years in the Navy. I understand, especially for young service members, what they're dealing with not getting a check to pay their rent or buy groceries. But I think it's important for people to remember that this could be easily fixed. I mean, the president took off on a trip to Asia. He needs to get back here and sit down with Democrats and Republicans and just sort this thing out. The president said that he is not in favor of these premiums going up to a point where it's unaffordable. But he hasn't been talking to us about it, and that is a big problem. By the way, Dan, he has spent more time on that ridiculous ballroom than he has on the price of people's health care.
Also a problem is food stamps. 40 million Americans are going to lose access here to supplemental nutrition. Is that going to happen? Is there any way of warding that one off?
Very simple. For that not to happen. There was a contingency fund made explicitly for this purpose, so that in the case of a government shutdown, there is money available to pay for SNAP benefits for food stamps so people don't go hungry. But here's the problem. Donald Trump said he's not going to use that contingency fund because he would rather just have people go hungry. instead of deal with the problem and deal with the system that we set up to address this.
Is this going to be something that we can ward off, Senator? Like how do you see this going?
Well, this is easily fixed. Just come to Congress, or folks will go to the White House to talk to him. He's got to get back from this trip. He left in the middle of a government shutdown. He left when people were facing these rising healthcare costs. He left when there are issues with paying air traffic controllers and others. And he left with this looming crisis of people not being able to get the money for the food assistance they need. In my state, that's almost 1 million people. Across the country, it's 40 million people. So this is ridiculous that this has gotten to this point. But unfortunately, for Congress to solve anything, because of how beholden Republicans in the House and the Senate are to the president and what he thinks and what he says, he's the guy who has to solve this problem at this point.
I asked you a form of this question before, but I will ask it more directly this time. Do you believe that the game plan here, when you keep saying this is easily fixed, is to break the government?
We don't want to break the government. I mean, I serve as a United States Senator. I spent 25 years in the Navy and at NASA. That is not the intention here by myself or any of my colleagues. There are some folks, I think, that fundamentally do not believe in government. What we want is to get them to the table to solve the crisis that people like my constituents, like Brent in Mesa, who has lupus, who can't afford his health insurance, or Emily, who's married to a pastor, who get their health insurance for her husband, the pastor, the kids through the Affordable Care Act. They're not going to be able to afford it either. I've got story after story of people that are going to be in a horrible situation on November 1st. And they're going to have to start making decisions about, do they pay their rent this month or their premium on their health care? Or do they put groceries on the table? And Dan, I think it's really important for people to recognize, how did we get here? The reason why we are here is that this president and Republicans in the House and the Senate wanted to give a giant tax cut to billionaires and millionaires, and it's partially paid for. There's still a lot of debt associated with this $4 trillion, but it's partially paid for by kicking people off of Medicaid and raising their premiums if they get their health care from the Affordable Care Act. That was to pay partially for the tax cut.
You are somebody who believes in the ideals of this country. And you don't do hopeless and you don't do helpless, but have you ever felt as close to hopeless and helpless as you do right now when you see the amount of crises that you're surrounded by?
Dan, I'm an eternal optimist. I am a guy who flew on a rocket ship built by the lowest bidder. You got to be an optimist. So I think we can get through this. We could sort this out this week if we could just get them engaged on it. If we can get the president engaged on this problem.
It is something that you're answering that way because you're an eternal optimist. But I really am asking you if you've ever seen this number of things at your doorstep that, while uncomplicated, do seem to be adversely affecting the poor more than just about anything and anyone else.
Working class and poor folks in our country have been screwed over by the government for decades. We have rising disparities in not only income and net worth. And it's happened, and people's wages have not risen unless you're a CEO or the CFO of a company. The system has been rigged against working class people, and that's what you're seeing here.
You look at the situation with our neighbors to the south with Jamaica going through a Category 5 hurricane right now. What is the process of delivering humanitarian aid to them?
Well, we had one. I'm not so sure that process exists anymore because Donald Trump got rid of USAID. So we don't have the professionals. We don't have the funding anymore. We don't have the programs available to assist countries when they have catastrophic things happen. And it wasn't a lot of money. when people argue we shouldn't be giving money to these other countries, it is in our self-interest to support other nations. As the United States of America, the richest country, most powerful country on the planet, we have benefited by helping countries like Jamaica if it goes through a catastrophic Category 5 storm. I'm not so sure we have the ability to do that right now. Certainly the Department of Defense could step in and do some things, but we do not have the capacity to deal with things like this as we did 10 months ago.
Do you have one thing above all others that is more likely to make you go home and test the eternal optimist in you by saying, like, this is the greatest of the problems facing us right now as a country, as a government?
Well, folks, when they can't buy groceries and put food on the table, they tend to be focused just on that and their safety, and I get that. I do worry about our democracy and the attack on institutions and the way the Justice Department is now being used by the president to go after his perceived enemies. That is an erosion of all of those things that kind of bind us together as a nation, and we're really divided. And I worry about that division and the politicization of everything and polarization. We're one nation. We got to stick together. We've got a lot of adversaries in the world, a lot of countries, that want to push us down, set us aside, that are threatening to us, threatening to our safety. We've got incredible challenges, not just here at home, but around the world. We're best able to meet those challenges if we stick together. And I think this president uses every single opportunity to try to divide us as a people. And that is very concerning to me.
Senator, is going to space fun?
It is the best. It is like, climbing into a rocket ship, strapping into that seat, turning all the stuff on, you're laying on your back, countdown clock gets to 0, 7.5 million pounds of thrust on your back, accelerating from 0 to 17,500 miles an hour in 8.5 minutes. It is the most crazy and incredible ride anybody could experience. I highly recommend it for you guys.
Hell yeah.
You spent how many days in space? More than 50, right? You spent how many?
I did 4 missions to the space station. I was the pilot and the commander of the space shuttle a couple times each. I was the last commander of Space Shuttle Endeavour. I went to the space station 4 times. I have 56 days in space.
I can't go. I get vertigo.
My brother has a lot more. He spent a year on the space station and 6 months the time before that.
Scary or not scary to you? Because you're saying it's the best.
You're concerned. You know what the risk is. There's a reasonable probability that you're going to die, but it's also in furtherance of, exploration and science, and it's really good for our country to do these kind of things. So you do look at the risk-reward proposition, and it's not just the reward, to me personally. It's like, what does this do for our country? That's why, I'm still a big supporter and will continue to be a supporter of our space program, trying to get Americans back to the surface of the moon before the Chinese do this, do it a different way where we can build an economy on the moon, kind of like we built an economy in low Earth orbit with commercialization and private partners. I want to make sure we do this before the Chinese do it. What kind of message would it send to the rest of the world if you got Chinese cosmonauts walking around on the surface of the moon, planting their flag, talking about how they are the leaders in science and technology and exploration, and we're struggling to catch up? We don't want to be in that situation.
Senator, it's like being the Cardinals. You're always behind.
Just this season, Dan. Just this season.
Not just this season.
Senator, grateful for your time and grateful for your work. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me on.
Against the spread.
Against the Spread is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Roy, kick us off.
All right, Maple Leafs and Blue Jackets tonight. The Maple Leafs have failed to cover the puck line in 7 straight games on the second leg of a back-to-back versus the Blue Jackets. And the Blue Jackets are on a 6-game winning streak at home versus opponents with a winning streak. The Toronto Maple Leafs have won back-to-back games. This is the 4th game in 6 days for the Maple Leafs. So go with the Blue Jackets, who are a 1.5 favorites at home against the spread.
Mike, what you got?
Texas Vanderbilt. I love this college football betting card, and there's a lot of great games, a lot of great value on the board. I have maintained over the last few weeks that the SEC is the ACC with a better publicist. Vanderbilt, everyone's hot on them. Everyone's down on Texas because Texas has struggled the last 2 weeks on the road. Texas struggles on the road. At home, we don't have a lot of data to pull from. It looks like Arch Manning is indeed going to play, so I like Texas. -2.5. I think it's a good time for Texas to have their best performance of the season against the spread.
Give me that spread.
So you guys know I love a good NBA controversy, right? I love a good NBA controversy. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but Pat Beverly and Trae Young, they hate each other, all right? I'm not exactly sure why Pat Beverly decided to go at Trae Young when he did.
I have the background. It was because someone said, how do we make the All-Star game better? And Pat Beverly's came out strong, like the All-Stars need to care, whatever. And Trae Young responded, how about you let the All-Stars answer that question?
Okay, good response.
Burn.
Okay, good response. Well, the Hawks, 2 nights ago, the Hawks lost to the Bulls, who are undefeated right now, by the way.
They are.
The Hawks lost to the Bulls. Trae Young had a lot of assists. I think he had like 17 assists that game, but he shot the ball really poorly. So Pat Beverly took it as an opportunity to troll Trae Young again and continue their beef. He tweeted out, BTA. I mean, you know what BTA means?
I know
B2A.
what B2A means.
Yeah, B2A.
Like I said, B2A. You know what B2A means?
What's that, Zaslow?
I do, but Chris doesn't, so explain it to Chris.
Belt to ass, dog. So he put B2A Bulls, way to beat the Hawks. All right. Then he tweeted out immediately after that another tweet, Patrick Beverly, because that right there is just, about the Bulls beating the Hawks. And he adds Trae Young. Trae Young and the Hawks did all that talking and trolling just to lose by 20 to the Raptors. Talking about playoffs. Hold your nose. It's a nose emoji. Hold your nose stink. So he's going to, I guess he's going to do this all season anytime he has an opportunity to go after Trae Young.
I like the idea of like the first one against the Bulls was subtle, but it's like maybe it was too subtle. Maybe he didn't get the message. Let me tag him next time.
Well, and then there was another one too where he makes sure that everyone knows that he's coming after Trae Young. Come on, relax on Trae. Just a tough shooting night. He go get it right. Go Hawks, go. And it's, a quote to seeing Trae Young shooting 7 of 22 and 1 of 10 from 3.
Not a great shooting night, but also that would represent Patrick Beverly's greatest night ever.
I mean, Pat Beverly would kill to just be in the league right now. Trae Young's an all-star in the NBA.
I mean, Patrick Beverly would kill to have 22 shot attempts in any game, anywhere.
Yeah, he's saying Trae Young stinks like fried fish on an airplane.
I love a good NBA beef.
Only if you're in the middle seat.
Jeremy, I've noticed you've stopped bringing fish to work since I called you out.
Yeah, I mean, if I bring it, I'll just make sure that it's like a meal prepared that I like to have cold. So it'll be like a salad.
You
and put
still
some
will
cold
bring
fish.
in the sad,
like my jokes.
wheat bread turkey sandwich.
Yes, I will.
And I appreciate you trying to look good, eat
Just
healthy.
be healthy.
It's a sad lunch.
It is a sad lunch, but health. I'm trying not to die. That's the big one. Family history of kind of almost dying, and I'd rather not do that.
Okay, well, you just made it serious.
Well, it's hard stuff,
Hold on.
You just want to.
Family history of almost dying is an awesome family history.
Yeah.
Every other family I know.
Punk rock, man.
Every other family I know has a family history of dying.
Yeah, no, grandma, 2 heart attacks. Didn't die from them. She just died of old age. It's pretty special. Hey, I have polls to update if you guys want them.
Go for it.
We had 2. Let me get to those. Scrolling. Big fat white face. Big fat white face. Here are the
You said you had them.
polls. I did. Have the Charlotte Hornets been running up and down the court for 37 years
Team
for
sucks.
no good reason? 96.5% of the audience says yes.
Yeah.
And Is there a better name in sports than the mustachioed Simone Fontecchio? How about this one? Guys, it never happened before.
No. What? Wait a second.
50% of the audience says yes.
Really?
Well, how much says no?
50% of the audience says no.
What?
Really?
We have him with a mustache here. You guys were talking about it earlier.
Oh, yeah, I remember that like stretch of the season last year when he was dressed like
It's
that.
me,
Mike,
Simone.
you woke up in bed next to that guy.